7:30 Central Time on NBC. Captain Nice, champion of justice.
It's some nut in his underwear.
Word Balloon is brought to you by the League of Word Balloon Listeners.
His paintings redefined comic book heroes. His vision inspired a generation. The Legend of Kingdom Come is the definitive documentary on Alex Ross, known as the Norman Rockwell of comics.
It almost looked like Renaissance paintings, except for superheroes.
He makes them look like Olympian gods.
We go behind the scenes of his definitive graphic novel, Kingdom Come, now on Blu-ray, packed with exclusive interviews and unseen artwork. Order today at legendofkingdomcome.com.
If you're here at Word Balloon, it's because you like comics, creators, conversation, pop culture subjects. Would you consider joining the League of Word Balloon Listeners? Patreon.com/wordballoon. For just $3 a month or more, you'll get exclusive access to the Word Balloon e-magazine, featuring transcriptions of some of my best conversations. When you subscribe, you'll also be part of the Word Balloon Book Club, where Brian Bnedis and I will pick a comic every month to review and discuss live with the League on this show. Join the League today, patreon.com/wordballoon. Thank you always for your support, League of Word Balloon listeners. Welcome back, everybody. It's time again for Word Balloon, the comic book conversation show. John Suntress with you. I got the Powers team with me. There they are, everybody. Mike Avon Oming, Brian Bnedis, and perhaps some friends will be joining us later. We'll see. But good to see you guys. How are you?
It would have been so funny if she ended up in my screen, but I don't know how we make that happen. I do believe I have one of those outfits in this house. I could have had one of my kids throwing that on and really mess with John's head.
Turn the light on. So they can
I was going to say it's dark in the kitchen, so we can't quite tell. There you go.
Discount, but this is the Murder Inc. Creative team in full blast. Not to spoil
dark noir stuff, right?
The reality of who might be in the fever dream behind Mike Oming, but that is Hugo nominated Taki Soma in an outfit supplied by my wife.
Nice.
Yes, you were called.
Can I help you?
Can I get fries, please, with that?
Everybody has serious questions for you.
Yes, this is a woman who I literally trust with the livelihood of my children.
She makes all the decisions in the house.
There you go.
I'm really good with math.
All right, and just for those who are watching us vertically, if you go to the Word Balloon channel, you'll be able to see the widescreen.
It's funnier in vertical. I just noticed that.
Yeah,
vertical is where the comedy's happening.
Well, both will be live on the Word Balloon channel. So yeah, they this is a new thing on StreamYard now. They offer like automatic vertical.
So this asks the question, why aren't there more comic book creators on reality shows? This would be
I mean, this is my normal life. I spent all day playing video games in costume because it's comfortable.
It was like she was walking by in costume when we turned the stream on, and this happened.
When she put this on, Brian's wife gave her this as a Hanukkah Christmas present. It was like she was baptized this morning. Like she finally found her skin.
Yeah.
She was finally happy with it being inside of her own body. She was like, this is it. This is my identity now.
The joy this is bringing Elisa. I got to text her, see if I can get her in on this. Hold on.
Sure.
Hold on. I'm gonna send her the link while you guys commiserate.
Well, I'll let the viewers know again. If you're getting a vertical view of this, go to the Word Balloon channel. You'll be able to watch it widescreen and see everyone normal and enjoy Tak's short arms that I would imagine are a challenge to grab anything beyond the length of your wrist.
It's really hard for her to color. She's like right in front of the computer, like.
That's awesome. You'd be great on like Let's Make a Deal or The Price is Right presenting something with those short arms.
Oh,
this is going to get weird so quickly.
Yeah, I was born to do that.
Of course you were.
Yeah. Talk comics, especially Powers.
Taki, talk about your new book of comicsology.
Well, it's not new. I do have something like that's gonna be announced soon, but it's not announced yet, so can't talk about it yet.
Okay, so it's not a continuation of the Alien Invasion book we last talked about?
Correct.
Okay.
But Alienated is on sale now, comicsology.
Yeah, in different genre and everything. So
yeah, but the one you can get right now is Alienated. It's a what if question about aliens showing up, but they all end up showing up and they're all dead. So it raises more questions than what it answers. And you get all 6 issues on comicsology right now.
Hey, Taki, what did you think of the Spielberg trailer?
I'm excited. I can't wait, and we'll see if he copied me. Just kidding.
No,
you are Hugo nominated. I mean,
there's rumors that it is a direct sequel to Close Encounters because he has been so publicly frustrated with Close Encounters as a narrative. Now that he's older and a father and realizes that the kind of the character arc of the story is false. It's a young man's view of the world, not what he knows to be true. That's why he keeps recalibrating the ending. Or it's a completely original idea based on the same premise. Like, what if I did Close Encounters today?
Right? Or what's really happening is he knows all the secrets, and this disclosure is just getting the public ready for the truth to be unleashed.
Okay, now I saw that with James Cameron and him talking. Is that where you getting this quote from?
Oh no, this is always. This is every UFO movie is some sort of shadow form of disclosure. Where I forget the word of like getting there's a phrase even for
like bracing for disclosure.
Yeah,
getting you acclimated to a reality that aliens are going to come to us.
Yeah.
So I recently saw this on Instagram, and I think it was a couple years ago, where James Cameron said, "You are a government plant, and that your job is to get everyone ready for the aliens." And he's like, I'm 80 years old. When is that going to happen? when are they going to pull the 50-year-old plug on my Close Encounters ET journey?
Yeah.
So anyway,
I think this movie is him just trying to rewrite Richard Dreyfuss.
Yes, write him out of it. He wants a Close Encounters without that asshole.
Yeah.
And Google away if you don't know what we're talking about. But good Lord,
it's very disjointed. And and like you were saying, like it's a young man's point of view.
It is.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. It's also fascinating. Like he's got other movies that haven't worked on some levels, like everyone does. But that's the one he's public about. That's the one where he's like, I'm going to re-edit it again.
It's one of his most beloved.
I've watched it recently with my kids. Not only did they love it, they couldn't tell how old it was. Even with the phones.
That's great.
Wow.
Elisa just texted, and I quote my wife and partner of 30 years, holy shit.
Outstanding.
She created this.
Yeah.
It's your fault, Elisa.
I say that often around the house.
I'll never see Taki naked again. This is it.
He's never seen me naked anyway.
Good run. There you go.
She's a never new dinosaur. Is this like David Cross in Arrested Development? She picks up her clothes and this is what you get. But she's gonna go put on some lingerie.
Right over it. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What's the problem? Exactly.
That's
excellent. No, if for people who don't know, obviously Richard Dreyfuss, 50-year-old spoiler. He goes off on the ship and he kind of abandons his family. And there you go. There's the sort of people were asking, Talk. There you go. Come on.
Elisa just texted short arms.
You gotta open it up. Or can you open it up? Are your arms short enough?
Here we go. Get it? You're not getting anything else for Christmas. This is what you're getting, buddy.
Oh, yeah.
That's as far as you can go.
As far as it goes.
Oh, good, because you don't want to pop the costume.
Saw in the comments that they wanted to see a dinosaur with a sword. So
is that a Hattori Hanzo sword?
Yeah, it's a Kill Bill sword.
Okay.
Just so Aldo knows, because he says excited for today's show, great Christmas gift. Looking forward to hearing more about Bendis' return to Marvel. We will get to that, but given that Mike is joining us for the
There's
first
a
hour.
sword-wielding dinosaur on camera. Nothing is more important. And I've written nothing better in 10 years than what's actually on screen at the moment.
But I figured we would talk about, at least I know the 5th issue is coming out soon, but we certainly talk about.
Well, 4th issue is out today, just hit stores yesterday. So we got a month till 5. I sent you the first 5.
Yeah.
That's why you happen to have them. But we were genuinely grateful for the reviews that we got this week. It was really nice. I mean, like,
yeah.
I'm so returning to the scene of a crime. There's a lot of pitfalls. We talked about it when we were first announcing this book like 6 months ago. Could go either way. And instead, we got ourselves a dinosaur with a sword, which will be our next book. This, by the way, you're looking at the next hot IP from Dark Horse.
Dinosaur Taki.
Precariously close to Omingstead.
Yeah, those reviews.
No, I want to see Shaolin Cowboy versus Taki's dinosaur.
But those reviews meant a lot because we were taking, a big swing, kind of with our eyes closed because, you're either when you come back to a project like that, you're either accused of just going back to the well, or you're going to repeat something, or you're doing something so new it doesn't connect, and Brian figured out really, because my idea early on was I just want to draw Walker and Dean again, just let's do Powers again. Let's not worry about the continuity of it or whatever, right? And let's just do kind of one-off stories. Just wanted to do Powers again. And Brian had already been thinking about like the future, and without losing that, how do you hold on to that legacy and keep it active? Yeah. So
and also we're both pop culture professors. We've seen versions of people do this well, and also people do this and go, yikes. Like you'd even think they were capable of sucking so bad when they returned to the scene of a crime.
Yeah.
So I gave it. I mean, Mike and Taki knows I overthought this a dramatic amount, and sometimes that's the good way to do it, and sometimes you just overthought it and didn't make it any better. So
for you writers out there, like Brian has rewritten scripts for this. Like there were times he was like, I was a quarter of the way through and I rewrote the last part of it. So like,
I'm doing it right now. You'll see that.
Yeah, we just had this conversation about the second half of the script. And people, like when you start out writing, you're not building a house that you have to disassemble to rework it and stuff. Like don't be afraid of reworking your idea to come up with something better, as long as you're meeting your deadlines and all that kind of stuff. You don't
we're not hurting
crazy,
anybody.
right? But right. But yeah, Brian's working so hard on it where he's constantly rethinking, puts it aside for a second, comes back to it. So
listen, I don't want to interrupt, but we have some very excellent comments going on, and John may not know this, but there's a couple of references to the Powers Fortnite crossover by Quentin Tarantino. And what they are referring to, John, is just last week, Matt Fraction and I got to go see Kill Bill, The Whole Bloody Affair, which I genuinely highly recommend. I loved it sincerely. It is a very different experience than watching it in separate things. They reworked some stuff, mostly, I think, to the positive. But at the end, and you can see this on YouTube, and you can see it on our Discord, there's a lost chapter of Kill Bill that Quentin Tarantino decided to direct, fully using the Fortnite animation engine to tell the story.
Oh, wow.
It is one of, if not the worst thing I've ever seen in the history of cinema. Particularly egregious because he's talking such shit about so many people and how Scorsese hasn't made a good movie in 20 years and Spielberg, blah, 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 blah. And then he goes and does this Polar Express looking Fortnite sellout horseshit. It is the worst thing I've seen a director who postures themselves as a non-sellout ever do.
Wow.
I am stunned how much it angered me. I am both delighted and amazed I still contain this much nerd rage for something. I've certainly aged out of a lot of nerd rage, and my station in the comics culture has kind of leveled me out to not be as worked up about certain things as other people's would be, because I've walked their shoes. Who am I? But god damn,
Well, this
talking
was a
shit
choice
about
from the
Paul
beginning.
Dano, and you
It's
got
not,
this fucking piece of shit Fortnite
Yeah.
banana motherfucker. Oh, it's
and
so
that was
mad.
a choice from the beginning because it was a pre-built engine for the Fortnite stuff. So it's not like sometimes you sign on to animation and then you have a special effect on your show and you don't know until you get it what it's going to be. He knew ahead of time what this
Oh
looked like.
yeah,
And Blue Eyed Samurai just came out like a
there
year
are
ago, year and a half.
examples of excellent.
Amazing action, amazing movement, amazing visuals, and then this looks like a 7-Eleven commercial.
Well, and even what he did, was it volume 2 where he had the anime sequence explaining Lucy Lou's character and everything? Yeah.
And
Why not
by
just
the
do
way,
that?
when me and Fraction saw it, the guy behind us at the Hollywood Theater here in Portland projectile vomited all over the floor right behind us.
No way.
Oh, bleh. Like,
Ew.
and I didn't hear the blah, but I heard the spill, and it sounded like someone dropped like matzo ball soup all over the floor. And
that's too descriptive.
no, it was that bad. And then the lights, there was an intermission in between what would be 1 and 2. And the lights came on, and everyone came running down because they knew the guy had heaved it during the anime, which was much longer than the version you've seen before. It's about 10 more minutes of pretty gruesome stuff, but still surprising. There was an argument whether there was inebriation involved, but the guy barfed.
Well, luckily he wasn't wearing an outfit like this because
barfed it. But it's Portland, he could have been. I can't say that for sure. But the guy barfed and ran out, and then when the lights came on, I saw how fucking close he was to just my jacket, my head. It was right there. Ew. So I will say, as annoyed as I am with Tarantino and this Fortnite horseshit, I'm delighted that his gross movie actually made someone barf in the theater. Like, I've never experienced that before, even in the 80s and 70s when people would do that. I never had that happen.
Well, to connect it to another Tarantino film moment, the great Lawrence Tierney, the great noir character actor, apparently was at the Egyptian for a screening of likely Reservoir Dogs, and was so drunk that he stood up and peed in his popcorn box in front of everybody. Have you guys heard that story?
Yep.
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah. Sorry, Tak.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Exactly.
I am like many, I'm a frustrated fan of Quentin Tarantino. The movies are exceptional. I'm telling you, up until the moment of Fortnite, I literally said that's one of the best movie experiences I've ever had. I've never had whiplash happen in a movie theater like that, like where you're like having a great time. But also, like, if you listen to his podcast, he's really interesting for 40 minutes and then really annoying for 20. Like, really, like.
Does he have a new show?
He's got that Video Archive podcast that he does, and
that projection booth.
Yeah, it's him and Roger Avery. It's actually, when he's calm, it's a very interesting podcast. He's just not always calm. I don't know how else to say it. It's a very uneven performance from him. Roger Avery's daughter hosts it, and she clearly can handle Uncle Quentin from decades of just handling him. So that works well. But you've got to be in the mood, because if he gets on a roll, it's just him yelling. It's that Fiona Apple video on Instagram.
I was going to say, we all turned to Fiona Apple listening to it.
It's exactly that. And I'm like, I know he went on Paul Scheer's podcast, and you could hear like the Paul Scheer being like, "Oh, I wish you'd calm down. Like, what you're saying is interesting. It's just you're yelling into the microphone." So
wow.
And also, like, as we get older, you see when someone running around screaming, "I'm the greatest filmmaker of all time." I'm like, no, someone else should say that. And if they're not saying it, then shut up.
Yeah.
And don't start shitting on Scorsese, because all it makes me go is, well, Scorsese hasn't done anything but original material in decades. Like, nothing but one original swing after the other. Big, giant money-making swings in his late life career.
Yeah.
Unlike many,
even if they miss,
people.
He's not doing anything lazy. He's like not like
Nothing.
doing something simple, doing a short shot. Like he's swinging. And that's Brian and I just had this conversation the other day about a couple of movies that like a lot of, that are divisive. People either love or hate. But with the thing that we both agreed on was that
take a swing.
We'd rather see somebody take a big swing and miss instead of making just another generic.
Yes.
Checking boxes, really easy. Sick of it.
But also, Tarantino has been like meticulously creating this narrative from earlier on in his career. Like he like has always said, I'm only gonna make 10 films and I'm gonna do this and all that stuff.
For why?
And because he
Yeah.
thinks that that's like a narrative that he wanted for himself.
Yes.
It's turned it into a
Magical
self-sabotage narrative. 100%.
Yeah, it's magical thinking.
Yeah.
Alcasaurus is right.
And even a few of his films that I don't really like, he's doing something. He's trying something.
Yeah.
And if I don't like it and it doesn't land, I'd rather, like he didn't just redo Reservoir Dogs, right? Like he was
absolutely
taking a swing and doing it.
Yeah.
So he can walk the walk. He doesn't need to talk trash. It doesn't make any sense.
Well, anyway, go look, if you guys don't believe me, go look at the Fortnite thing. It's on YouTube. On 70 millimeter, it looked 10 times worse. It just literally looked like Polar Express.
I was gonna say, yeah.
And that's when everybody else projectile vomited.
It's so funny, Fraction, like 1 second into it, Fraction goes, let's go. Like immediately, and I go, no, let's watch it. Like, it's only 10 minutes long. We're here.
Yeah, I didn't want to.
But one shot into it, Matt goes, let's go. And he was completely right.
That's how I was.
In my opinion, there's not one good shot in the whole thing.
That's insane.
In the commercials and trailers, I immediately stopped watching. Like I couldn't watch more than a few seconds. Not because I was super judgmental, because I fucking love Kill Bill, and I don't want anything touching it. So I was like, I don't want that in my head.
But Mike, you said it perfectly. Like a Kill Bill Volume 3 in the style of Blue Eye Samurai would be outstanding.
Yeah.
We're not against animated Kill Bill or animated Tarantino, but it's literally like we have a lot of friends who were joking about this. Like a Goodfellas ends with Henry Hill going, "I saw some angry birds." It's literally like such a gross tie-in to some nonsense that has nothing to do, like the end of The Godfather. They start crushing candies. Anyway,
Stan's right. He's like he made the Scorsese made The Aviator when he was Tarantino's age now. So he still hadn't done The Departed, Shutter Island, even I Like the Irishman, for God's sake.
And also take away all those and just include the documentaries he's made alone. If that's all he did for the next 30 years was the documentaries he laid out, people would be floored. And instead, they're like footnotes to these giant epics that he's been able to land because of his excellent cast and everything.
Crazy.
Yeah, and again, he's got this, like Taki said it perfectly. He started this like self-perpetuating fable in his head in the 90s that he's going to be the greatest film director, and everyone keeps saying no, it's Scorsese. And there's no greatest filmmaker. There's a bunch of great filmmakers.
Yeah, of course.
But this is he's been hounded by the masters that came just before him, and they just keep mopping the floor with him, right? Because again, if only Spielberg made The Fabelmans in the last 10 years, if that was the only thing he did, you'd be like, holy shit, dude, So instead, the lesson here is talking shit just makes people reevaluate you in a negative light like this.
While we're talking about filmmakers, did you guys see Leaving Megalopolis?
Megadoc. You're talking about Megadoc?
Well, both the movie itself and the documentary about it.
I've seen the movie. I have not seen the documentary. In fact, we were having dinner with David Walker last night, who was telling us how fascinating it was and how it created the opposite emotional feeling of Hearts of Darkness. And I'm dying to see it. Like if I could find it last night, I would have. But
sure,
I got lost in some other stuff.
Crazy.
Yeah, I can't wait. Coppola's a fascinating dude, man. Also paid for himself, didn't shit on anybody. All right, that's what you want to do, right? Anyway, yeah.
I agree with Henry. Scorsese was really funny in that first episode of the studio.
He's a really good actor. Like him and Sidney Pollack were like these two director actors that were so strong as character actors. You're like, Jesus, like Google on YouTube Scorsese in the movie Quiz Show, where he plays the studio executive, and it's basically he just after 2 hours of trying to figure out why do they cheat at game shows, this like weasel comes in the room and just like looks him in the eye and goes, "Go fuck yourself." Like it's it's incredible performance.
Oh, yeah, even Round Midnight in the 80s, that wonderful jazz movie about Dexter Gordon. That's fictionalized.
Absolutely. He's I'll even one up you, Vincent Van Gogh in Akira Kurosawa's Dreams. That is Scorsese.
We're film guys, everybody. I don't know how to break it.
And the dinosaur.
And the dinosaur, absolutely. Well, here, all right. Powers 100.
Oh,
or
did
Powers-
Harvey Picard's ghost just pop in? That was a very funny.
Yeah, he
headline.
does. He does.
Okay.
Oh, good. Aldo loves this movie talk. All right, we'll get to it.
Oh
Aldo. I
yeah,
swear to
shit,
God.
yeah. Well, we could talk.
Don't worry. You want to do it now, or do you want to do Powers now? What do you guys want to do?
That's what they're asking.
Yeah.
What have you seen, Mike and Taki? I know Taki loves Jurassic
go.
Park.
we were just talking about like big swings, and like so last night the two big swing movies we were talking about was Megalopolis and Tenet. You know, and like Brian and Matt hate Tenet with like a passion. It clicked for Taki and I. I absolutely loved it.
We watched it like 3 times.
But we also know it's not like that, and Megalopolis, like it is just not. It's not the kind of film you even defend, right? Like you either like it or you don't.
Yeah.
But I appreciate again, like just trying something different.
Yeah.
You know, instead of watching stuff that's like by the numbers or is very comfortable or easygoing. You know, I'm really turned off by most like movies have just been so bad for the most part that typically we won't watch a movie if it's not a television show because you can develop something. Yeah,
way more than movies. One, because movies are finite stories, and television shows are like the ongoing series. So like I'm more interested because in TV shows because you can invest more.
And the studios have just killed not all good filmmaking, but a lot of it, and especially like the mid-sized movie, the mid-sized budget thing, like
it doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah,
I've been having that conversation on the podcast for years.
Not to say it doesn't exist. I'm sure there's people right now like
they're
naming films and stuff. Yeah,
I'll name a couple real fast, and I've seen them within the last 4 months or so. Did you guys see Linklater's Blue Moon with Ethan Hawke?
No, I have it. I have it on the screeners. It's the black and white Godard one.
No, it's Blue Moon is about Lorenzo Hart, and Lorenzo Hart was Richard Rodgers' collaborator in musicals before Hammerstein, and it all takes place the night that Rodgers and Hammerstein premiered Oklahoma, and it takes place in Sardis, and they're having the night of their lives, and Ethan Hawke is amazing. And I'm not usually the biggest Ethan Hawke fan, but he's excellent.
No, Linklater Hawke is the perfect Hawke. That's the best one, for sure.
But it was really great.
Sunrise, Boyhood. Yeah. That's the Ethan Hawke you want.
Sure. But no, he's and I bet he'll get an Oscar nom. I haven't started getting my screeners yet. I don't get my screeners till January.
Oh no, they're different now. They're all digital screeners. They're the Writers Guild send you a link, and like every movie that's in theaters is there. And then that's when you really get to, you're lucky enough to get these free movies, but then you realize, I really don't want to see this movie. It's free. You just have to click play right now. I'm like, no, I guess I don't want to watch this movie. So,
I get the SAG ones because I'm in the Screen Actors Guild because of broadcast.
Well, for me, what else? And you had a couple others. That's a good one. I'm a big link.
Well, the other one honestly was truly, and it's so tragic with Rob Reiner dying, but Tap 2 was great.
I love Tap 2. I must say, John, I posted about this earlier tonight, and Mike, you don't know this. Right after you left dinner last night, Olivia in London came to me and said, "Hey, Dad, could you show us Spinal Tap?" And so my son is a comedy nerd of the highest order, and you see the dinosaurs nodding yes because there's no off switch on that young man's comedy machine.
He is really funny. Cool.
And studying, like he's like working, like he's working through the prism of Andy Samberg as his North Star. But
great.
From Lonely Island goes back to Spinal Tap. My daughter is a documentarian. They're both musicians. They all want to see the movie for different reasons. They both have heard this is where it all started, right? This is where Tenacious D and Jack Black came from. So, and also they heard a lot about it this week, sadly, because of his passing. Yeah. So it was fresh on their mind. And we watched it. I there's no better Hanukkah present I could have gotten. They loved it so much. And it landed so well for them. And the jokes that were funny 50 years ago, like the almost the cliche jokes of that movie, like these go to 11. Huge laugh.
Wow, that's interesting because even the style of music, like I don't know how much younger people are even aware
No,
of
no,
the
no,
whole genre of
it's
like
still
giant
rock
metal
bands.
arena bands and stuff, right?
Yeah, it's still there's a tour. Taylor Swift goes on tour. They
Sure. Okay, yeah. So
they got
there's
that.
analogy to it.
Some bands don't make it. They got it immediately. Oh, this band
Yeah.
is these are hacks. Like as soon as they show the clip of them being like shitty Beatles ripoffs, like they got the joke immediately of what the whole movie was, right?
Hey, Henry Browhouse.
Ah, I love Henry. Henry, I
Yeah.
was in 2 comic book stores and saw your book. One in Italy and one here in Portland just this week. I was doing a piece at Books with Pictures for Travel Oregon, and I pretended to read one of your books, Henry. So anyway,
I haven't seen Caught Stealing yet. I actually have the digital copy and I'm sitting on it. But Running Man, I hear, was just not good. Glenn Powell.
I got to see it in a very good space. I'm a big Edgar Wright fan. I was rooting for it. I didn't hate it, but it wasn't the Scott Pilgrim Edgar Wright that I wanted to see put on the Running Man. I think that's what people who are disappointed by the movie. They're like, oh, do that thing you do with Shaun of the Dead and Scott Pilgrim, but for the Running Man, and that's not what it is at all.
Okay.
It's just it's pretty straightforward Running Man adaptation. And you're like, and also there's a thing where I'm not against what's his face Glenn Powell just because he's the hot new dude.
Oh no, I like him fine.
It's one of these movies where everyone else in the cast would have been a better Running Man. Like Michael Cera is in the movie, he's great. And
Oh man, he'd been
you should have been the Running. The movie's 100 times more interesting. Fucking William H. Macy's in the movie. Make him the fucking Running Man, and I'm so much more interested in what's going on. These interesting actors. Anyway, so I got to see back to Spinal Tap. I got to see Spinal Tap with my kids. They absolutely loved it. I was shocked how quickly London landed that they all had mouth sores. Like that, we had to stop the movie. And I remember seeing the movie a bunch of times before I even noticed them when I was a kid. I guess it's this high def or something. He goes, "Why are they all beat up?" And I go, "Wow, you caught it immediately." And for those who don't know, there's an ongoing bit in Spinal Tap where they all have sexually transmitted mouth sores. And if you see the unedited version of the movie, you find out who gave it to them.
Yes,
but there are scenes cut out of the movie. It's funnier without the scene that there's just swords bouncing around the whole movie that they never talk about and never explain. But the fact that my son clocked it instantly threw me.
Well, I was so thrilled with the second movie coming out that I actually got the Audible audio version of the book that they also released. So if you're missing Rob Reiner, it's amazing. And because he narrates 95% of it until there are specific stories from the 3 guys. So Harry Shearer comes on and talks about how he
nice.
All of them do it. And the best is, and a minor spoiler, but when Christopher Guest meets Jamie Lee Curtis, she takes over the narration.
She's in the project. I was just talking to my wife about how interesting it is that they never like fully, even as a joke, work together in cameo. Like she doesn't even show up as like in costume and mascots or something, right?
Yeah, you're right.
They keep it
That's
separate,
true.
but adore each other.
That doesn't surprise given how idiosyncratic Guest is about his stuff. And also, before Mark Maron hung it up, he did a great interview with Guest and did it right. He warmed him up talking about guitars, and that kind of eased him into talking about sketch comedy. And then he was home because I saw Kevin Pollak try to interview.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Years. There you go. I knew you would. And and also prior to, like, they all talk about the kind of sketch comedy they were doing before they all got together for Spinal Tap the first time. And I'll let you check out the book. But I am a big fan of that radio sketch comedy, late 60s, early 70s era. The Committee and the Credibility Gap and Fireside
Up to Godspell, which takes us to SNL.
Yes.
So in that regard, I will say that I highly recommend, and I just watched it for the second time with my daughter, the John Candy documentary on Amazon, which dives right into what you just described, which is a young man who was loving exactly what you loved, and then started SCTV, very connected to Christopher Guest and Martin Short and Catherine O'Hara. It's a great story about a guy who seemed like just a great guy. Like they kind of like celebrating the fact that we're not telling the story because he did something jerky. Here's someone who literally dedicated his life to just handling it. right?
I wish Bill Murray talks around this stage thing that they did, and he never gives us the real story, and it bums me out because I would have liked more of that.
But it was as close to real Bill Murray as we've gotten in a while. Like you can see they just kept the camera on him until he said something real, and I kind of thought Colin Hanks did a good job on that. Just keep it rolling.
Yeah, he's 2 for 2. That Tower Records documentary made equally good. No, I'm thrilled that Colin, because I've always liked him when he's been on camera. Colin Hanks.
Oh yeah, great. Yeah, he's great. Great
so it's nice that he's a great filmmaker as well. Yeah, absolutely.
And also taking advantage of his space. Like he has access to all these people, and maybe I'm the guy to tell the story, like Judd Apatow does. Like, oh, I'm the guy who knows the story, and I know the people who did it. I should turn the camera on, or it's not going to get turned on.
Oh,
right.
Another documentary that's on HBO, and I'm stunned. My good friend who kind of lives that Rat Pack life. Yeah, you got to see the Paul Anka documentary. It's incredible, Jen. I'm like, all right, fine. And it is incredible because
I heard it's good.
Beyond the Teen Idol, it really focuses on Anka the songwriter and a much more extensive career than those 5 years of being a Teen Idol. And also, much like Neil Sedaka and Frankie Avalon, what did these guys do when the British invasion hit? Because they were all like 20.
Yeah.
So they weren't like old men trying to, and they were as much a part of the Rat Pack variety group as the teeny boppers and stuff. Bobby Darin was like that as well. And this is this Anka story, what he did. And it's very, very good. Truly.
So after Spinal Tap, it took us to YouTube to watch Tenacious D on Letterman. And then my son sees, hey, what is this? Letterman rolls over things with a steamroller. Letterman drops things off a 5-story tower. So that was our next hour and a half. And when I'm telling you, my kids were on the floor. They loved it. And Olivia's like, after like 6 of these videos, Olivia goes, so Letterman invented most of what's on TikTok. Like this is mostly what's on TikTok. is people pressing stuff, people rolling stuff over, throwing shit off a building, and like brain rot videos. I mean, this is all Letterman was doing. The joy that I felt watching my kids enjoy, and I did. I said, I'll be honest. After they watched a few of them, and he was just like, I can't believe this exists. And I go, I can't believe you love it as much. This is my favorite thing. Letterman doing this nonsense was at the moment my favorite thing in the universe. And I love that you
the Velcro suit like that. You just talk about that for weeks.
The Alka-Seltzer suit.
Oh no, we got they saw, so that last night they saw the first 5-story tower, but it's the Letterman who does it like he's a broadcaster, like he does it like it's a serious scientific experiment. And then later on in life where he's just throwing shit off a building and there's no preamble to it. So they got to see both versions of that. And then they got to see the steamroller, the press, because I remember the press being particularly excellent and satisfying. And then that moved over to the dinosaurs walking away.
I know.
Don't you dare! You committed to the bit. Anyway,
he's going into the cave to hibernate.
Unless you got to pee, I don't want. Anyway, so.
Good luck. There's an escape route happening.
Unless she walks away like sad.
That's what the fan's for. She just holds the fan over the toilet and just sprays it all out.
And
Harvey Picar's ghost is right. The compilation of Harvey Picar appearances are amazing.
You made me think of that Harvey Picar's ghost. And but anyway, so then they got to see the first, like, it was the top 10 greatest stupid pet tricks, and it literally floored them. It floored them. It's stuff you've seen, like some of the great ones. It floored them. Now, I was so happy.
You'll forgive me because Grandpa's going to point out, and don't get me wrong, because Letterman was my high school years as well, and immediately
okay, Carson boy, what do you got?
But Steve Allen, I mean, no, but honestly, Letterman will admit that a lot of his ideas came from
Steve Allen.
Steve Allen had this early 60s syndicated show on Westinghouse, early 60s. And
he was also host of The Tonight Show.
Well, no, it was after The Tonight Show that he really started doing his crazy bits. Mm-hmm. And much like the Alka-Seltzer thing, Steve Allen had tea bags attached to him, and he dunked himself in hot water, and then he served the tea.
Yeah,
but yeah, so
it would not happen today.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But no, it's
for sure. Steve Allen and believe it or not, weirdly, Dick Cavett and Jack Parr were all kind of building up to where Letterman was going, but you could see Letterman like going, yeah, there it is, right there. That's the stuff.
Absolutely. And he was forced to do things that Carson wasn't doing, because the NBC guys are like, well, you can't have a monologue, but you can have opening remarks. You can't have a full band, but you can have a combo. Hence Schaefer and the World's Most Dangerous Band. So all these little limitations he made into pluses, and he'd hire those great alternative comedians of the early 80s that were too weird for the Tonight Show. And thank God that's where we got Gilbert Gottfried. That's where we got a lot of these guys.
And also, if you want to watch another great doc that's on Peacock right now, Downey wrote this. It's about Jim Downey, who was a formidable decades-long person on SNL.
Yep.
But people forget, left SNL for a couple of years to turn Letterman into Letterman. And all
Have
the
you guys
famous...
Have you seen the Stiller one about his parents?
I have. Yes, it's excellent. On Apple, everybody. Okay. Stiller and Mira.
Yep.
Well, you need to know more about Jerry Stiller just from King of Queens and Seinfeld. He was amazing. And they were the poor man's Nichols and May. I always felt they were blue collar Nichols and May as far as husband and wife comedy duo and stuff. But no, great story. Amazing story. Yeah.
Yes, I totally agree. But Jim Downey having been so influential on early SNL, and then so influential on Letterman, which became influential on all things late night, and then went back to SNL, and then did everything around Norm Macdonald, like just like when you see the amount of just monster wins, decade after decade on SNL, you're like, Jesus Christ, fully worth a documentary. Only to see one guy came up with all of that, insane.
Yep.
So yeah, anyway,
quite agree.
So I got to tell you, Mike, it was just like you left a fun family dinner we had last night, and then afterwards, literally one of my favorite nights. It was just incredible.
That's awesome.
Yeah, really.
That's awesome.
That's cool. Does London want to? Is he thinking about writing sketches and stuff?
We'll see. I'm not putting anything on anybody. Okay. All my kids have shown their journey when it was time. Like Olivia's on an excellent journey. I would not have guessed it 5 years ago as a documentarian.
So I would have. I always believed in your daughter. I don't know about you.
I believe in her, but I wouldn't say will she be in fiction or nonfiction, or where will she be?
Sure.
I all we can do is just show them what happens when we do good work and let them find what work they want to do. I'm also not fully convinced that London's job exists yet. He's 10 years away from entering the workforce. The world will be very different in 10 years.
You're right.
What jobs will be, and even what creative jobs will be, where it's God only knows. For worse, it will not be the same jobs we have.
There, before Skynet and Terminator 2, there's another AI controls the world movie from 1970. I'm going to do it on my Scene Missing movie show with the guys. It's called Colossus, the Forbin Project.
Sure, yeah.
Oh, attaboy. Well, yeah. I've been talking to other friends that are in the movie and TV business, and I kind of answered my own question, because I'm like, why haven't they remade this given what we're all going through with AI today? And then I realized, because it takes 2 years to make a movie, and in 2 years, AI is likely going to be very different than what it is today, because it's very different now than what it was 2 years ago. So
we have corporations investing a lot of money in
that's what it is. It is an investment platform.
And you'll forgive me because I know one of you guys works for Disney, but when Disney announced that
we all work for Disney, buddy. Don't kid yourself. We all work for Disney. We all work for Amazon.
The mouse rules us. But yeah, when they announced that they were licensing their images, I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
I keep saying it. It's like the movie Deep Impact, where we're Téa Leoni and Morgan Freeman waiting, or with her father waiting on the shore, and the tidal wave's coming, whether we like it or not.
I've been in a lot of meetings where AI is inevitable is said out loud by somebody, and I'm like, it's still a stealing machine. When it's not a stealing machine, we can talk.
Have we seen any real piece of art come out? And I don't mean a single piece of art. Have you seen any film, any short movie?
I ask all the time.
Anything that's been significant? And I look really hard.
An emotional, invested piece of artwork that isn't oh, look, it sort of looks like a Michael Bay movie, is not what I'm talking about. We've been doing that for 8 years. Here's 4 seconds of a guy on a motorcycle, running up a pyramid. Okay, great. who's made artwork out of it, I'm completely open-hearted to see it. And when artwork, I mean like not based on other people's artwork. So
you can't avoid
Roddenberry,
that because that's just what it is. It's there's no way around that part of it. But even then, it's weird. It's weird that you can see people make a stop motion movie out of puppets and make it be an emotional thing, but they can't seem to do that with AI.
Not yet.
Not yet. Yeah.
But it's been years, and it's been years, and it's not happened yet.
Why is what I don't understand. I don't understand why. Like before we did that AI panel, I was looking very, very hard. We did an AI panel at Rose City Comic Con by AI Comics. So I'm looking really hard, being as open-minded as I can be, to just see who has a grasp of the language. And like we've seen people make comics out of cut out, montage stuff. What is that? Collage, right? And make great comics out of collage. So AI is kind of like that. Why can't they still make it? Like it's just not being done. Like there's serious.
You kind of answered your own question. When someone's making puppets, they're crafting art. That's we have sculptor friends. Like if you're with your hands touching and making, this is your soul is being put into this, like little bits of your soul, good parts, bad parts, whatever you're putting. This is you, and the mistakes are you. And like when you're listening to a song and the chord's a little off, but that's the part that makes it magic. That's the soul of the artist. And if and this journey to make something that's AI perfect, but we all know that's not what connects us through art. There are tons of mistakes in a Scorsese movie, like literally buttons are unbuttoned and scars are in the wrong place. Like there's mistakes, and those mistakes are even subconsciously us connecting as humans. Like a person made this for me and is trying to tell me something. And that is a different goal than I'm going to do this perfect McDonald's commercial.
But I have to admit that and again, I'm against it, but I have to admit that some of the AI generated music, like I've heard a lot of parody songs that sound like 70s R&B that are funny, and they sound like,
I hate to say it, but like I listened, like I heard somebody take like a 50 Cent song, make it like a 70s R&B, and I couldn't believe how good it was.
Sure.
I immediately always get turned off immediately.
She immediately gets, as soon as she there's, because it's not even that she's like against the AI so much as like she
take off the dinosaur outfit.
I learned that it's AI generated. Something gets lost, and I lose interest immediately.
I do too, because there's no soul there. There's no like, and not everything is soulful. But even when something doesn't work, someone tried to put their soul.
Some of my favorite comics are pretty lowbrow, like kind of over rendered. Like the really indie stuff, like really not good in a lot of ways. That like you can feel the interest in it. You can feel the passion. In it. You can see the raw ideas that aren't fully cooked, but are still pretty awesome.
But even like people who fuck around with AI, and you can feel them losing interest even as they're doing it, because you're like, oh wait, it's actually learning how to draw. That's the best part, even though that's super frustrating, and maybe I can't do it, and I'll never be as good as Brian Boland. But
my least favorite part is the finished art.
That journey of like, and that is as old as like humans who could, like, again, going back to understanding comics and caveman walls. It is literally as old an instinct as humans have on this planet, and AI trying to replace that without bringing something better forward.
AI artists just want to do shortcuts. They want this finished amazing piece.
I get the impulse.
I get sad when I'm working on a piece that I really, really love, like that Powers 4 cover you're showing, where the inverted guy with his body inside out and stuff. Like I was bummed out when I got finished, because I wanted to keep playing with it. I wanted to keep going, but it was done.
That's actually one of my favorite things, where you like the book shipped and go, oh, so I guess I'm done working on it.
Yeah. And that's literally what happens. That's how I know when it's done. Something clicks in my head, and I go, oh, it's finished. Right? But there's never this sort of end goal that you think you're going to hit.
Mr. Eggman is making a strong point. Who's Mr. Eggman?
I don't know either. Is that Doc?
Is it Oming? Is Oming Eggman?
I'm assuming it was Taki's disembodied voice, but I could be wrong.
Yes.
She's the walrus.
Taki, did you de-dinosaur and sneak around the camera?
What?
She's
you get out of your outfit?
She's undinosaur.
Yeah,
'Cause-
I'm dinosaur, and I will not show my real face.
Yeah, you can't.
My dinosaur face is my real face now.
Okay.
Only I am trained to be able to absorb her true form.
Yes.
It'll destroy other people like an angel without the wings and stuff.
I have my periscope glasses on, Talk, so I can see around the corner and I can see everything.
Oh, you're like the new Mad Men print on HBO Max. You saw that? You know what I'm talking about?
No.
On they put out.
Yeah.
We talked about last night. They on HBO Max. They put out a new ratioed Mad Men, and in some of the shots, you can see the boom mic guy just literally standing right next to.
What are they doing? That and when they stretch
it's
out,
such a mistake. It's
and
incredible.
When they stretch out what was in that classic square television format, I've noticed that they will try to show it wide, and they're cutting off the edges and stuff, in almost like the pan and scan days and stuff. And it's like, just leave the square alone. It's okay. I was watching the Beatles anthology presented again on Disney, and it is in the square, but I'm bummed that they cut an hour from it. It's like, what the fuck, man?
They did. They cut an hour from it.
That's what I'm
Why?
hearing.
Oh, that's weird.
I'm like, if anything, aren't we going to get more footage to explain making the last song now and then?
Can you really believe there's still more footage? It's really amazing. Like decade after decade, project after project. After the Beatles anthology DVD box set, there was still footage.
Well, that's Brian. That's what we got with Let It Be, the Peter Jackson thing.
Incredible. I know.
Yes.
I'm saying I'm stunned.
I am too.
To be this age, and there's still new Beatles stuff.
You know, you guys might remember, but in the 80s, there was a great documentary called The Complete Beatles, and it's narrated by Malcolm McDowell.
Yeah, I think I have a copy of it. Yeah.
Okay, hang on to it because they're not re-releasing it. And I think because it's a little more warts and all than the sanitized anthology and everything since.
And they're all on YouTube, and I love the making of Star Wars and Raiders of the Lost Ark documentaries, because if you watch them, and please do watch them, they are filmed in a style they will not do anymore. There is literally 10 minutes of the Raiders of the Lost Ark documentary where Spielberg is full on spinning out with imposter syndrome, and he can't get it back. He is literally sitting there going, what am I doing? I'm wasting everyone's money. I don't have it.
Wow.
And he's not joking. It's incredible to see. God bless his humanity. He's literally standing on the set of his masterpiece going, shit, I don't have it.
Wow.
They would never show that today. Never. They would never, in promotion of a movie in theaters right now, they would never show that today.
We were talking about that with Olivia last night.
There's no shot of Paul Thomas Anderson on the set of One Battle going, nope, I don't got it.
Freaking out.
Yeah. We were talking about with Olivia last night. We were talking about, like, who are these documentary autobiographies for? You know, because they're just these like weird fluff pieces. I was like, who is the Springsteen thing for? Because if you're old like us, you know this is not the story. And if you're a younger person, do you care who's Bruce Springsteen?
Yeah, we're talking about the curated, like the Eddie Murphy doc on Netflix, which is very fun to watch.
Yes.
And when you get to the end of it, you're like, well, that's not what happened.
Yeah,
like,
the Queen movie.
We were there,
completely making stuff up.
Oh yeah, the Queen movie, absolutely. Well, that's you know, again, that guy who was like, you got to see the Paul Anka thing. He really loved Raging Bull, and then we had the real Jake LaMotta on our TV show, and he's asking him questions about things that happened in the movie, and I'm like, dude, it's not a documentary. That's Scorsese artistic license, man. I know from Cinderella Man, I was the truth sayer in the room because I was the boxing expert at Sporting News Radio. And I'm like, okay, Max Baer actually regretted killing the two guys in the ring. He was not happy about it. Yeah. And they asked Ron Howard, and he's like,
made him the villain of that piece.
Right. And that's what he said. He goes, well, you know, it's a story and we needed a villain, therefore. You know, and it's like, all right.
It is an over-the-top villainous Max Baer performance. He's like,
oh, yeah, he's great.
Murdering psychopath.
Yeah,
with permission to do it in the ring.
I'm forgetting that guy's name, but he's a great actor. I like him in everything.
He is. I like him too. He was like the 13th floor. Craig Bierko.
Craig Bierko. There you go. You got it. Craig Bierko.
Right. It was
attaboy.
It's amazing what's in there.
Murdered in the ring. Like, I'm not a big boxing fan, but John, I assume you saw the Jake Paul thing.
I did, sadly.
Getting his jaw broken by that dude was.
Mike, he's
Crazy.
smart. Yeah, but he's smart, Mike. He's willing to do that because he knew that, fine, he has his fans that believe his bullshit, but he knows that all of us, and especially us boxing fans, have been waiting for him to get his ass kicked, and he was willing to do it. And I mean, honestly,
I've
thank
never
God
seen
Anthony,
anything like that.
thank God Anthony Joshua didn't like put him in a coma or even worse, because that guy can hit. That guy's
that was like a movie though, because like just before he's about to do it, he literally smiles, and then it's just nuts. It's nuts.
Well, and also, Jake Paul got one or two good shots in, and that's all he needs for his promos moving forward. And here is this little twerpy guy who's 50 pounds lighter clocking a heavyweight champion with an overhand right, and it looks as good as any fucking fight highlight you ever want to see. So yeah, forgive
it's
the
all
boxing,
curated, it's all fake. Yeah.
I know Brad's like.
So it was nice to see somebody just go off script.
No, it's a funny, like my whole relationship to it is I go online like the next day or that night. I see him get punched in the face in slow motion. I'm like, good, and I move on with my day.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Exactly, all the Schadenfreude.
Yeah, that's all. I only saw like a highlight of it, and I was just,
But I will say,
I don't like to see other people in pain, but I was like, well, he asked for it.
He did ask for it.
That Andrew Tate one was pretty sweet. Sorry.
That was beautiful.
To his credit, though, I do have to say, and this is the truth, he has elevated women's boxing. He has promoted women's boxing, and not so much the fight that was before the Anthony Joshua fight. The fight before Tyson, literally in the top 5 of greatest women's fights ever. And they go and they're out to hit each other, and that sport has really jumped forward in the last 5 or 10 years. And as someone that was there from the beginning of
you love boxing, and I'm thrilled this is here for you in whatever form it comes. To me, it looks like people completely made out of energy drinks hitting each other. That's all I see.
I understand.
It's just a Red Bull hitting a spindrift or something.
Well, they become Ivan Drago like in Rocky IV. It is that kind of training where it's really people, kinesiologists, helping these guys with nutrition and everything else. No, and Joshua's like Ivan Drago, absolutely.
We should say before we move on.
Yes.
This episode is like a bonus episode, both of you and of us. We were supposed to do the book club this week, and we are going to do the book club next week. But having spoken to the Jinx World people, no one was ready.
Okay.
And many of us, including me, had read the wrong Darwin Cook, Richard Parker novel because they're not numbered. So a lot of us, for some reason, or a few of us assumed that the Score was the first one, but the Hunter is the first one. So I read the Score and really enjoyed it. We're reading for next week for the book club. We are reading, and you can isolate this for the thing that we are reading and discussing Darwin Cook's masterpiece adaptation, Richard Parker, The Hunted. Right, I think you'll end up reading all of them. They're very
Do you have the
very
omnibus?
fun
The
to
omnibus
read.
that has all the stuff in one novel.
Well, I have the first.
Amazing.
I have the first Martini edition. Did they release the second Martini edition?
I don't
say
know what
it
I
didn't
have.
have everything.
I thought it was all in one bag.
I think there's another one, but the one we'll discuss is the first one.
Yeah, the first book, the first.
And also, it's interesting for Mike, Taki, and I. We've been hired to adapt a famous novel, not a Richard Parker novel, but a different novel from a different author, and we've accepted to do it sometime next year. So studying this truly excellent adaptation was very inspiring and helpful to me. I'm excited to discuss it.
Guys,
also, it was like Criminal. I realized I hadn't read it in years and years and years.
The bar is high. The bar is very high on this one. So
I was telling friends the other day how you guys unfortunately had the initially had the opportunity for Dick Tracy and it got pulled away. But of course, Mike got to do Dick Tracy.
Mike got to do it. It haunts me to this day. Many years ago, we got offered to do Dick Tracy. I believe it's a Sunday strip. Even was that?
Yeah.
Okay, I sometimes these things conflate or I tweak them in my head. And but it was me and you to do Dick Tracy as the Sunday strip. not only was I excited to do it, it did feel like something our heroes would have done. Like that's like when you hear those weird ass things Jack Kirby did, I was like, oh yeah, So I was really excited about it.
Yeah.
And then Warren Beatty got wind of it and shut it all down. And Warren Beatty is like one of my favorite filmmakers of all time. So I was like, what are you gonna do? Like put on the costume and do another Dick Tracy? And then he did it. Go look on YouTube. He puts out Dick Tracy content so he can hold on to the media rights.
Yes.
Some of that has loosened up over the years. This is why Mike got to do the comic book. But for decades now, Warren Beatty has been like holding on to Dick Tracy, but yet not doing it.
It is that weird. The last version when Ben Mankiewicz.
It's the nuttiest thing. It's the craziest thing.
He interviews Beatty as Tracy, everybody, if you haven't seen it. And even Mankiewicz showing it on Turner Classic Movies is like, it's Warren Beatty, kids. Watch.
Dick Tracy talking shit about what an asshole Warren Beatty is. I'm like, okay, there's also therapy. You can just go to therapy. You can wear the costume and you can do. You don't have to film this and put it online. So
yeah, you can wear an inflatable costume and go to therapy.
And to clarify for Samoki dude, he knows. Yes, Alex Segura is currently doing the Mad Cave.
I am a big Alex Segura fan. I love his novels. Sure. I love his he's got a new Daredevil book out too, and I highly recommend his Dick Tracy. Mike did it for IDW. Yeah, this might have been 15 years ago. I'm talking like this is not even the same.
Yeah.
company.
Oh yeah, this is longer than 15 years ago. This is
this is not Alex getting our hand-me-downs at all.
It was 20 years ago, and it was before when your guys' proposed thing was supposed to happen. And then, Mike, when was your IDW run that you did of Dick Tracy? 5 years ago, 10.
It was during it was like 2020, like during.
Oh, that's right. It was during COVID.
No, because I couldn't do it because of DC. I just could not do. I was envious.
Done together, it would have been
thrilled that you got to do it. Yeah. All right, so so we will do book club next week.
Okay.
Richard Parker, the score is that or the hunter. Yes, read it, even if you can't be joining us live. Highly recommend the read. Spoilers, it doesn't suck. And then you can listen to us talk about it. With some gentle opinion and authority.
We will pick a day and we'll make it alert.
And we'll make it happen. So, but if you're a member of the Jinx World Discord or a Patreon member of Word Balloon, you have access to the conversation live. You can jump in. For us, for Jinx World, is a continuation of the classroom setting. We have like dozens of classes that are recorded on Jinx World. This is another version of a class. To it, like absolutely deep dive. We've done Kelly Sue's and Phil Jimenez's Historia with Gene Ha and Nicholas Scott. We did Criminal by Ed and Sean. What else did we do? We did Birds of Prey. We did Kelly Thompson's Birds of Prey, which I really am glad we did because I'm not sure I would have gotten to that book without it. Just Saga from life. We did Saga. That was another boy. I'm really glad we did Saga.
Yeah.
And what else? There's one more in there.
Criminal, Saga.
And you can listen to these right now. These are available. You can go to.
Oh yeah, they're on the library. Everybody, again, come to the Word Balloon channel either on podcasting or on YouTube here, and you can see them. And yeah, like in the commercial at the beginning of the show, you'll be part of the show. You'll be. I mean, we're doing a live book club. We're doing it.
You can take over. Yeah.
Absolutely.
But this is the only show. You got the dinosaur.
This is true.
So,
and on that note, I'm fading.
So
going.
You don't want to hear what my favorite movies are?
Well, I get up early and then I play video games all day. I'm exhausted.
Well, let me real fast acknowledge that I love the preludes to each chapter that are happening. A lot of fun. That they're great. They're fantastic, guys. Seriously, I'm really enjoying them.
We kind of realized we aged out of what was our letter column, which was by today's standards a yikes situation. It was also us, we were coming up, so we were punching out everywhere, but now it looks like we're punching down, and that's not what we ever meant. So instead of doing the letter column, we have the Discord and that space in which everyone can interact with each other. So it's to me a continuation of the letter column, which is just a fun way to hang out. And so if you buy an issue of Powers 25, you get a free invite. And just yesterday, I dropped a great holiday present for everyone on the Discord, which was one of the most popular things I've done. I have a Jinx World Goodies server where I just drop in free comics and scripts and surprises. There are things going on in my career that only the Discord people know. So Mike was like, wow, I can't believe they all keep a secret. And they do, including, by the way, before Mike fades out, it is our 25th anniversary of Powers, 4th issue on sale this week. We're very, very excited. On top of everything that's been going on around Powers, we got some outstanding news last week, just around, just before Hollywood broke. Mike and I were sent to work on a project that is Powers related, that you will officially hear the announcement after the holiday break. We heard that they will be announcing. You'll have to guess what it is, but it is very exciting. And so if you're a Powers supporter, there's very cool things happening both here. And yes, Henry, in Oming's awesome newsletter. And another thing you could do is follow Oming on the TikTok and the YouTube and just watch this dude draw. Just watch him do his thing. Man. It is so fun and exciting and warming. And that is my bedtime story for Mike Omen.
All right, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Talkie Dinosaur.
Bye,
all the best,
Mike.
All the best, Tack. Take care. There we go. A question before we get into the books, and I know I have an answer to
and
that.
I didn't do my movies. Go ahead.
That?
Yeah. I didn't pick my movies of the year.
And I want to hear your movies. B Things wants to know, I've been seeing stuff for novel and comic publisher Hard Case Crime. And if you're familiar with them, I am. Are their books any good? Yes, they republish a lot of great stuff. In fact, Max Collins even revived one of his detective characters because they republished one of his old books. And the response was so good that he even wrote a new book and everything because he's Max Collins and he's constantly writing.
I'm Googling it right now. This is a publisher called Hard Case Crime?
Hard Case Crime, yeah. And they're good. And they also, they put out comics as well. They're R-rated comics. There's sex in there. There's nudity in there. But I like their novels a little bit better than their comics.
A lot of Stephen King involved around this, huh?
Yep.
They're really great. I have to check it out. I'm sorry, this was not a lane I was familiar with. So
yeah,
I will check
and actually, Rucka and I have talked about this as well. Okay, B Things. We're fans of that stuff. At least me and Greg are, and we'll get Brian up to speed.
Right.
And then I don't know how you say this. Tai Su Damascus scene. I don't know.
Sounds good.
If someone wants to read the whole Powers, what's the best option nowadays? Dark Horse has a collection of some?
Yes, everything is up in print at Dark Horse. So you can do a couple things. Number one, you could start at Powers Volume 1, Who Killed Retro Girl? That is the beginning of the series that introduces everything from that is literally like first series. And it's there. You can read it and enjoy it. If that feels daunting, that is cool. The new series, Powers 25, that just started, is as fresh a read. It was literally built to say, if you've never, ever read anything, check it out. And the reviews have let us know we did that well. So I feel confident now in saying you absolutely can pick up Powers 25 issue number 1 and understand everything that's happening, and you will not feel punished or penalized. There's also a graphic novel called The Best Ever, which was our 20th anniversary publication, which is a graphic novel that is very big and self-contained and epic. And that is you can read it. It was literally built to be read by itself. Also, if you read everything else, there's a layer there for you. And as it should be, but never enough. I'll tell you, I had this weird experience where I accidentally saw the series finale of The Leftovers, which is like a 2-hour movie on HBO, having never seen even a second of The Leftovers prior. And I turned on HBO, and it was 1 minute in, and the image caught me, and I stuck with it for a minute and ended up watching the whole thing. And it was the most unique experience I'd ever had, where I was completely fulfilled. I loved it, not lost at all. But yet was very aware it was wrapping things up that I had not seen. And I loved it. It was just one of these accidental storytelling moments. We've all had them where you come in and oh, why is this grabbing me? And it was very influential on how I handle Powers now, is that If you're reading it all, I got you. If this is all you can read, this is all the time you have for us,
No, it's
I
accessible.
got you there too.
Agreed. All right, Auditron is very confused. I don't know how you found the channel, Auditron, but I will introduce us because, yeah, you're like, are you guys writers? I'm 100% confused. So anyway, Brian Michael Bendis is a comic book writer of note. He's also written a couple television shows, and but we're discussing his and Mike Oming's return to a crime comic called Powers, and it is cops in a superhero world. But prior to that, we've been talking about movies and television, AI and things, because usually when Brian comes on Word Balloon, we discuss these things, and that is kind of the oeuvre of the Word Balloon channel. We discuss pop culture, we discuss movies, we discuss TV, but we also discuss comic books. So welcome.
And Auditron, separate from my infrequent appearances on this podcast, this is an ongoing concern, and it has been for the last 20 years, like a very unique and, may I say, even important destination for a lot of your favorite comic book creators of all walks of life. Come here and have long-form, friendly discussion about the art and fun of storytelling. So scroll through Word Balloon. Go like put in your favorite creators, your favorite comic book characters, and you'll find that they are here discussing it in a length that I think would just delight anyone who's a fan of any of this. I couldn't recommend it. I've been here for years, but so many of my favorite creators, even people I know very well, I learn a lot about them from Word Balloon. Because this is where they come to talk about stuff. So don't worry about me so much. But if anything you like about comics, scroll back and take a look. But one of the fun things about comics is we don't just plug our comics all day. We talk about our passions, the things that we love, the things that inspire us, and the things we like to nerd out about each other. There you go. We did it. All right. I'll stop. We subbed him. I'll stop talking.
Absolutely, man. No, I appreciate that, man.
All right.
No, and I don't know how you stumbled on us, but I'm glad you did.
It's the best, right? We get it all the time.
Hey, man.
I had not to be braggy. I just came back from Italy. I had an amazing experience in Italy thanks to our Italian publisher, and it was just weeks of really unique interactions with people who came to our work through different avenues. Some people literally discovered me on Word Balloon, or some people like discovered you because I went on Word Balloon. And then like every mixture of every kind of thing, like, oh, I only read Daredevil and you do Daredevil, like, or I only read original things, and that's what you have. So it's one of my favorite things about comics is that there's a million ways to get involved or get invested or find your way into it, and it's all so intimate, and so many of our friends are giving so much of themselves to do their best work in this medium. I know every medium has that, but there's something really magical about the way comics are created and the partnerships they create. And our friend Mike, who was just here, is one of my lifelong partners in making stuff. And again, not bragging about having our book and all this exciting stuff going on, but because people who read the book kind of invested in it, it's kind of like letting you know your investment paid off. Like, things are going well, and it's very exciting to share that with people.
Agreed. And honestly, the greatest compliment I get is when readers of the creators that I talk to say, hey, I saw you on or heard you on Word Balloon. And Brian has been very kind, and Mike as well, and a lot of the other comic creators who have put me in their books. Brian actually did a book with David Mack called Cover, and my favorite scene is in the first issue where an artist is talking to somebody and like, hey, I heard you on Word Balloon and blah, blah, blah happened, which is very cute that you guys did.
You were Principal Suntress in Ultimate Spider-Man.
Come on.
Did you get murdered? I couldn't remember.
No.
At one point I was going to murder you, but I didn't murder you.
No, I survived the flood of Ultimatum.
You survived Ultimatum.
And then, oh God, I forget, damn it, from St. Louis, the artist, always working with Mark Waid. Damn it, I can't think of his name right now. But you wrote a scene and drew a scene where Miles encountered Principal Suntress in his condo.
Oh, Chris Samney.
Thank you. God damn it. I'm sorry, Samney, if this gets back to you. I apologize. I haven't talked to him.
He did a great bit on you. That was good.
Yeah. And also it was so great to see you hanging out with Sarah Pichelli.
Boy,
Who
that
also
was
did a very nice
something.
rendition of me back in
So
the day.
Sarah is Italian royalty, as is a couple other creators I've worked with over the years who I had a great time working with. Never a bad moment, but we just didn't have like an emotional connection because of the language barrier and and what it be. But like, so I went to Italy. Our mutual publisher friend sat us next to each other, and we spent the weekend. And we certainly, Sarah and I, never had a moment where we turned to each other and went, "Hey, that Miles grew up to be something." Like she's the co-creator, Miles Morales. That was an amazing experience. We shared with each other, wow, that was an amazing experience. And then we went on with our lives. And then to come back together years later, we had a very emotional weekend together. It was quite lovely.
Bless you.
Excuse me. It was like everything I'd ever wanted to have around. And CB was there. And also people now know that part of me coming back to Marvel for this new wave of projects involves me and Sarah reuniting after many years. And we never broke up. We just weren't working together. And so it's very exciting. I got to like have an emotional day with Sarah and then go back to my hotel room and rewrite the script based on how I was feeling in that moment. And it'll be all on there when you see it. So I'm very, very excited for you to see it. And it's one of the reasons that CB called me back in. I had to say yes to this, and you'll find out soon. Maybe you'll find out next week, as far as I can tell.
Well, let's talk about Powers before we get to what is already or coming out soon. And I didn't bring up. I got to get that other cover.
What?
But I'll get Avengers 800 up there eventually. We'll get to Avengers, I promise everybody. But for
not that thing I sent you, but the cover you can show.
Yeah, I was going to.
The other thing you can't show.
Okay, that's fine.
All right.
That's fine. And I appreciate that note. So again, Powers 25 is the name of the new arc, and I guess new ongoing.
It's an ongoing. I can tell you, we literally just heard from Dark Horse that we're continuing past our 12. What we're going to do, and there'll be more information at the time, is at 12, we're taking a break to unveil a new project. Before Powers 25, Mike and Taki and I were hard at work on a new idea.
Okay.
And then we were like halfway through, and then Mike goes, "Hey, it's the 25th anniversary of Powers." I'm like, "Oh shit, we should take advantage of that." And I had ideas cooking. So we're going to pause only to debut a brand new idea, which we think is in the vein of celebrating the year of Powers by also bringing out something new.
Okay.
And then right after that goes into the brand new storyline of Powers, which will be the fallout of what happens in these first 12 issues. So it is absolutely continuing. And again, there's some news in other medium that is coming soon, and that'll I think draw some people's attention to the piece as well. So yeah, we are beyond excited that we get to keep doing Powers and that people are being nice about it. And it's just feels like such a gift on so many levels. I think you can feel it even us on Zoom. Just I love these guys so much, and we get to make comics all day.
Attaboy.
Yeah.
Well, so now we were following. I mean, we certainly Dina Pilgrim and Inky are back. Inky is now the captain.
Yeah,
there's Dina. And
so the cool thing we got to do is we aged our characters with the series, which has happened before, but very rarely. And even in TV, when the characters age 25 years, they do everything they can not to do that. But like Dina was one age when the thing started, and it's been 25 years since Powers #1. And not only have they aged into it, but they've learned a lot, and how they perceive the world and themselves has changed and altered. And again, if you're just picking up this issue flat straight, you're good. Don't worry about it. But there's also this giant journey of life that we're able to take our whatchamacallit.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Jason. Oh, we were talking shit. There was a dinosaur here in the first hour. You missed it.
Oh, rewind. Rewinding.
There was an actual dinosaur on camera.
Carrie, you are correct. I believe Gasoline Alley was the first comic strip to age their characters. As
There's a
one would.
couple others too. I was hard pressed to find them, but it's unique enough where you can really celebrate, and also just being able to be published years later is just alone amazing.
100%.
But like when I was writing Spider-Man, it would be like every 10 years would be 1 year. Like there had to be some like little illusion of change, or you just stay Bart Simpson, you just stay 7. Like in never
or
age, even though the actors are clearly a little in the voice. But
by the way, I want to see Ellie McKay, the new James Brooks movie, and see Captain. Oh, is it not good, Brian?
It's listen, man. It's sitting there on Rotten Tomatoes with a 21%.
Oh no!
And I love the Word Balloon and the Word Balloon. The Blank Check podcast is my favorite film podcast.
Yes,
and they have already done their James L. Brooks year. So anytime a director they've covered in the past puts out a new one, they do a whole episode on the new one. So I listened to their whole Ella McKay episode, and they were being as generous as they could possibly muster. They weren't being dicks about it. And I was like, oof, but like for those of us who like love broadcast news with our whole heart, and then had to like kind of find their way into the experience of how do we know, or whatever that the Reese Witherspoon, Owen Wilson, Paul Rudd one.
I didn't see it. Go on.
Okay, so he's made what a lot of people thought was his last movie in 2000 or 2010.
He's
Paul
up there.
Rudd, all very attractive, and Nicholson's in it, and it doesn't work at all. And it's just got that broadcast news energy, but it just doesn't work. And it does kind of like illustrate the Quentin Tarantino madness of older directors not always having their shit together towards the end. I mean, This is an example he could lean on versus Scorsese. And so a lot of people thought, well, we've seen his last movie, but because he owns the rights to The Simpsons and Fox wanted a new Simpsons movie, he got them to greenlight one last shot at a broadcast newsy type of movie. I know I will watch it eventually. I'm already heartbroken.
He made in '78 a movie with Burt Reynolds and Jill Clayburgh and Candice Bergen called Starting Over.
Yeah. And
it's so great because it is so left field of anything Burt Reynolds did, because it was always tough guy action or the comedies, Smokey and all that stuff. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But this was just this very quiet movie. He doesn't even wear his toupee. He lets himself be bald in it. And he's just divorced Candice Bergen and starting a relationship, starting over with Jill Clayburgh. And it's great.
It's complete science fiction, because who would divorce Candice Bergen in the 1970s? That would never happen.
And listen, Jill Clayburgh was lovely, but no, Candy Bergen, goddamn. But Candice Bergen is so fantastic because she's a songwriter and writes these songs that can become big hits, but she sings them off key because
it's very funny. It's an excellent performance.
And Charles Durning,
and also James L. Brooks did Taxi and Mary Tyler Moore. I mean, like I've nothing but love for James L. Brooks.
Yeah.
But what he does is such a cultural high wire act. Like when it doesn't work, it's Spanglish, right? And when it does work, it's broadcast news. It's like and it's it's a bummer. Well, listen, what are you going to do?
Exactly. So your new cops, if I may, back to this. Here they are, everybody.
So that's Mobius Moon. That the tall gentleman is the first detective on the Powers Division who has powers, that is actively allowed to use his powers. And the other one is Iris Cutter, and she's the daughter of a Detective Cutter from years ago. In the book, her father died on the job, on camera. It's one of those like deaths you can watch on TikTok. And like, this is a woman dealing with that. Like, she's literally walking in her father's shoes, and it didn't end well. So we're these two new detectives being also mentored by Dina Pilgrim, or looking up to Dina Pilgrim and Enki, and all of them dealing with the new Christian Walker Powers Act that is supposed to solidify the laws of powers in our world, but no one has said to anyone what are the rules. They just announced there's a Christian Walker Powers Act, and walked off stage. I don't know if anyone can relate to a government announcing something and no one knows what it means for the short term or the long term, but that's what.
But the crux of it, if I may, is that now people with powers are allowed on the police force. So that is at least
it's a new idea, and also powers are supposed to be policing themselves and not being held to the responsibilities of the overall culture. But no one knows what that means. But all of this is really, it's a homicide detective book. There's been a murder. The murder is an investigation. Like right here, there's a giant hole in someone's head. Clearly, powers were used, and they have to figure out how and why and where. And by the end of the investigation, we have maybe uncovered something different about superheroes than you would get in other books. It gives us a chance to mash up our two favorite genres of crime comics and superhero comics and find a new way in and with new stories. And I'm so grateful that it exists, that would that it fills all the needs I have as a writer. Sometimes, like every idea I have fits in Powers somehow, and also for those who just like my Marvel work, Powers is one of the books that got me my Marvel work. Like they read Powers and Torso and called me and offered me Daredevil and Spider-Man. That's literally what happened. So if you want to find out where this idiot came from, this is it.
But the great thing is too, and again, people should reach back and read the other arcs. It is always reflective of what's happening in the culture at the moment. And it was really savvy of using the internet and what it looked like 25 years ago, and continues to reflect things. And I would imagine there are new things in our pop culture that you guys are going to be playing with.
Well, we've made it very clear. The one thing that's very upfront is that we're looking at Powers when it debuted. Thank you, Henry. When it debuted, Powers was absolutely a Watchmen baby, as was many other things. Like The Boys is a Watchmen baby, and lots of things like that.
Authority
and Wildstorm and but as the years have gone by and The Boys is a big hit TV show, and certain moves in both the DCU and the MCU, every once in a while I'd be like, wow, that's a real Watchmen idea. Like I think Captain America Brave New World, the president is a Hulk, spoilers from the trailer. That's a Watchmen idea, and I both celebrating the fact that I am a Watchmen baby, but also what else is there? Like what else is past that? Martial law, 100%. So what goes beyond? Like if The Boys has taken it as far as it could go, like cinematically, culturally, well, what else do we got, right? And I'm also fascinated about how even the storytelling of the superhero media has changed. We had two big superhero movies out this year. Neither one of them had a first act. Like they just got rid of it. Just let's just get to the second and third act.
Jumped him right into the action.
Right in. Versus I worked on a lot of the early Marvel movies. That first Iron Man movie, he's in the garage for about an hour. Like he's banging on that metal for a while as the audience literally acclimates to what's happening. Like this is someone's becoming a superhero. And now it cuts to 25 years later. It's Guy Gardner. Google it. We don't care. We're moving on. That's a hawk girl. You get it. She's got wings. Keep moving. And that's really fascinating to me. It really is. I mean, even going through some notes from some earlier versions of what the Powers TV show became and how many meetings I had to have with FX, rightly so, about what is a superhero? How will the audience know where the superhero came from? Like, what are they? Who are they? And now the audience is like, yeah, we get it. My Hero Academia. We've seen.
We don't need an origin story.
Yeah, yes. Don't worry about that. We're not even. It's been literally 15 years since they mentioned Uncle Ben's name in the movie, right?
Yeah,
and it was in Madam Web. That's the only place they mentioned it.
Oh, all right. I have not seen.
No joke. Love that movie. I love that movie.
Really?
I nothing brings me more joy than watching that movie with anybody else.
Fascinating. I have to admit I've yet to watch it, and also
there are movies. Listen, it's not a good movie, but there's not good movies that really bum the shit out of you. Then me really just you feel upset. You feel like, oh, they could have fed the homeless with his money. Like that's where your brain goes. Like what a waste of money.
Yes.
Like no one had an idea here. And there's something about Madam Web that is just delightfully ridiculous, including there's like bad lip dubs. There's it's made for How Did This Get Made? Like it's made for that podcast.
Have you seen the new, or it's not new, but that director's cut of that 1989 Captain America movie?
No. Is there?
Oh, Brian,
send it over.
After. We will talk.
Because I believe the Russo brothers, even though I have no direct knowledge of that, have referenced my favorite shot in that movie. In the Captain America 70s movie, the camera pans down to the front of Steve Rogers' childhood home, and in the opening shot, you can see the film crew reflected in the window of the thing. It's the opening shot of the film, if my memory serves me correctly. It's been a very long time. I may have
It has been a long time.
Altered this in my head, but there's an amazing shot where the camera pans down. You go, oh, this is a good movie. We're moving the pan down, camera crew right in the lens, and delightful.
I've discussed the movie on my Scene Missing podcast with a couple of the guys. Gabe Hartman's like, I'm not watching that. I'm like, all right, I understand. But Terry Beatty, the great cartoonist, who gave us Ms. Tree, back in the day, was like, listen, I'm a massive Captain America fan. This director's cut, he hung on to it. Cannon took the movie away from him. Rearranged the scene sequence, and this is the way that Albert, I forget his last name, intended the movie to be. He is dead. His wife has created a website, and she is selling Blu-rays of his.
I had no idea. First time hearing of it.
It's still a flawed 80s movie, much like you were saying about Madam Web, but it is so much better. And J.D. Salinger's son, Matt, plays Captain America. And I now have more sympathy to him because it's a very earnest performance.
Yes.
And it works as Steve Rogers being thought out and kind of just like, what the hell? What happened?
And I'm right that the movie he made before Captain America didn't suck, correct? It was like Sword and Sorcery.
Oh, you know, I had heard that. I've never seen it.
I don't think I've ever seen it, and I don't know how it aged. But I remember everyone thinking Captain America might be something because everyone who made last movie, there was promise there, right? So I remember that. Now, also, when you've seen this movie recently, this Captain America movie?
Oh, yeah, in the last couple of months.
In my memory, all right, so Captain America, and again, I worked at a comic book store when all these movies were floating around in the bootleg space. The Fantastic Four, Captain America, Spider-Man,
Punisher.
Thor meets Daredevil. These things would float around, and to get them was such a jewel. It was such a like you felt like Indiana Jones. You won. I got it right.
Yes.
And I have so many. I've screenplays that you wouldn't think existed if not for the copy that I bought at Motor City Comic Con in 1987. Things that you're how could this be? How could this exist? I have many things like this that I spent literally my food money on. And so I remember watching, and this is the great thing about working in a comic store. We just someone comes in and goes, I have the Captain America movie. Put it in the DVD VCR combo player. And we put it in, and it is a screaming delight. It is a Riff Tracks heavenly movie, right? Filled with nonsense. But I deeply remember that Captain America is tied to the rocket, and they're yelling at each other. The Red Skull looks terrible, and they're yelling at each other. And he's like, you're going to hell, Captain America. And he goes, no. And he goes, yes. And then Captain America reaches under his ropes and grabs the Red Skull's arm. If I'm going, I'm taking you with me. Something like this, right?
Yes.
And then the Red Skull pulls out his sword and cuts off his own arm.
He does.
Not Captain America's arm.
No.
Who was tied to the rocket.
Yes.
He cuts off his own arm and then spends the rest of the movie angry at Captain America that he doesn't have an arm. Am I correct on this?
Yeah, partially, yes.
Okay.
I would say so, certainly. That does happen. Ronnie Cox is the president.
Yes.
Oh, God damn it. From Ned Beatty. Ned Beatty is an investigative journalist.
But the player Luthor, Mr. Otis, a little bit of Otis.
No, he's more. Music? No, he's if anything, he's more Woodward and Bernstein than he is Goofy. and they were childhood friends. They see the drone fly over the White House. It was intended to hit the White House and kill FDR, but Cap was able to pull it out. But he's on the outside of the plane, and the president takes a photograph of Captain America when he's a kid, and he's held on to this photograph for his entire life. There are scenes that I don't remember from the original cut. And again, it's been forever since I've seen
the
theatrical release.
90s, yeah.
But it really, what I have heard is canon. The movie was more, when they would show the stuff from the 40s, it would happen in flashback sequences. And canon re-edited the movie to put all the stuff in the 40s at the beginning and then the modern stuff. It makes so much sense and more better. And also, it explains Steve's own confusion as he encounters the world of 1989 compared to the world of the 40s. Michael Nouri is in it, and I didn't remember that. And he's got very bad makeup as an old man. But Billy Mumy plays Darren McGavin's character as a young man.
Well, and I will say, though, my
very
memories are vague. This goes back many years, but when we got the call from the MCU, remember I was in the creative committee, so every time they would like launch a new film project, we were all hard at work on whatever that was. So as soon as Iron Man landed, it was Iron Man 2, Captain America 1, Thor 1. That's what we're working on. And the Captain America, I had such deep memories of that movie being such a delightful bit of madness that I remember when I would bring it up in the room, I could feel the other executives going, "Oh, yeah, like there's a version of it out there." But no, it's good. There's a version of it out there that you'll never be as bad as. Like you'll never make the worst Captain America. It already exists. You don't have to worry about it.
Yeah,
and you've got Joe Johnson. You're fine. You're good. It's going to be good.
And it was.
I loved it. I loved it.
Reb Brown was at Terrificon one year. And I'm like, dude, because really, as far as physically, he was TV movie Captain America.
Okay.
In the 2 movies.
I remember that. Big helmet.
Yes. Yeah.
Crazy
Evil
Knievel.
Knievel. Ridiculous Evil Knievel first costume. Much better on model second costume in the second movie. But I was talking to him. I'm like, you got such a raw deal, man, because you got bad scripts, bad everything. And I go, it's a shame because truly he would have been an excellent Steve Rogers with the right material. And he gets up from the table and he hugs me. And he's a giant, and I'm 5'9", this little squat man. And I'm like, sorry, big fella. I understand.
It is also how I must repress my old madness when I hear people online or in front of me complaining about some idiosyncratic, some weird thing about the MCU, or even like, I'm like, listen, you little whippersnappers, when I was your age, we had a Spider-Man TV show that was weird at best, and yeah, and we loved it. Yeah,
exactly.
Like these things were few and far between, and rarely of any quality that would last. I mean, some of you may be hearing about this for the first time. I mentioned even in Fortune and Glory the musical. Google away, look for the Justice League Roast of Superheroes. It's on YouTube. That was on network television as a representation of our culture.
And we were happy because again, it was, oh my God, hey, look, it's DC Heroes on TV. Yay. So no, I get it. In a Turner Classic Movies thread, somebody asked, why was there ever how many old movies have actors acting in the same role over and over again? And it's like, no, that's how movies were made back then. You were hiring Jimmy Stewart to be Jimmy Stewart in all this.
Did you see the Jimmy Stewart trailer?
I've heard about it, and yeah, I'm excited for it.
No, watch the trailer.
Okay.
I wish everyone involved the best, but I had the same reaction. I thought it was a joke. It looks like it looks so much like Drunk History. Like it literally stars Jason Alexander and Rob Riggle are in it playing serious roles, but those are comedian actors in costume, and the guy from Archie from Riverdale doing a really Saturday Night Live level Jimmy Stewart impression, like a very, very Dana Carvey.
Yeah, looks like that. Absolutely, Mr. Potter.
It's a, and you're like, oh, that's a real movie. Holy shit! May it be the best movie ever made. It looks crazy, like crazy. I have a question. Someone said, some okie dude, have you seen the weird Spidey adaptation where he's the psychotic murderer?
I have not.
I would love for you to follow that up. I do not know what.
Give us a title. Like Brightburn was.
Yeah, are you thinking about David Cronenberg, The Spider? Because that's a completely different thing. There was spidering and murdering.
I
do
don't know.
believe for B things, are there any what if type stories where Cap's origin isn't rooted in World War II? I do believe so. I can't say directly, but I believe there's some like Vietnam reinterpretations, just things that are like attempts to like Gulf War like versions of it. But I remember them just not working, or I'm sorry, I can't remember the names of them. And if I'm misremembering, I'm sorry. I do know there's always conversation about like how do you take like the Punisher and Captain America, whose original origins were based on his historical idea that is now 80 years in the past, like, and how do you make it like significant like it was when it first came out to
By the
people
way,
reading them today?
Zdarsky is killing it on that new Cap book.
Is he? I read the first issue. I'm behind, but I'll
great.
get to it.
And it's so interesting because there is as you know, Brian, there's a second Captain America because the Army decided, 9/11 affects this young man, and the Army gives him the soldier formula, and he is a Cap, so that when Steve is thawed out, there already is a Captain America out there, and he works for the Army.
That's great.
And it's very, very interesting, and is
very pro Chip Zdarsky right here. Very
come on. Ever since he worked with Fraction, I fell in love with the kid. And
we share a bestie, but on top of that, he just behind the scenes is just, really something.
No, he's brilliant. He's fucking brilliant.
Ron from iFanboy has not paid up. Just so you know, they just recently had an anniversary show.
Yeah, it's their 20th year as well. Yes,
of which I showed up at the end. They gave me the business about the closet from 25 years ago.
Still, that's Avengers where Wanda went crazy, and there's something behind the closet that Hawkeye might have seen.
It's for those of you who don't know, there's an issue of Avengers where Hawkeye goes to visit his sick friend Wanda Maximoff. She says there's something behind that door, and he knows if he goes and looks and it's not what she says it is, that his friend is lost to him. And he decides not to open the door and just to enjoy his friend. It's called Mystery Box Storytelling. Google J.J. Abrams TED Talk if you want to see what I'm talking about. But the idea is that you don't find out what's behind the door, and it doesn't matter what's behind the door. All that matters is Hawkeye's relationship to the choice. I've chosen not to look. I'd rather just be present with my friend. Certain people are not wired to enjoy that kind of storytelling. And Ron from iFanboy is now a lifelong, I could say, person who does not enjoy that kind of storytelling.
He must know.
And has been hounding me for decades.
20 years.
We just regurgitated it for.
I'm gonna have to watch that, man.
Yeah, it was fun. I did the bit I used to do with you where I go, all right, Ron, all right, listen, you guys have been cool. Jokes aside, here it is, and I hung up.
Hilarious.
So,
yeah, man, that does take me back. All right, here's the answer to that question about it's called Three Dev Adam. It's a Turkish film featuring Captain America and Spider-Man versus El Santo, the great wrestling hero.
Never even heard of it, and I believe you may have fantasized it. I think you may have.
Is it any? I mean, is it like a
legal thing? Oh, I'm gonna Google it. Here we go. I'm Googling on
Three Dev
camera.
Adam.
I literally never heard of it. I usually even have at least vaguely heard of something. 3 Dev Adam. Yeah, it comes right up. Boom. Oh yeah, this is what we call an illegal movie, my friend. Oh, it's on the YouTube. Yeah, you can see that.
Oh, mine. I'm gonna have to watch it. I'm gonna have to get the guys. The guys that did the Captain America rewatch with me.
It's from 1973, but it is. I will now go down this. How is this not a lawsuit rabbit hole?
Thank you, everybody. Thank you for letting us know about this movie.
You got a 4 out of 10 on IMDb and a 2.4 on Letterboxd.
That's like the Bollywood Spider-Man and the various.
Are you looking at it right now?
3 Dev Adam?
Yeah.
No, I'm talking to you. I gotta
Google it. Google it. I can't do it justice.
Okay. Oh yeah. I may as well put the link in. So I will do that.
I'll do it too. Here. Yeah. So, just 3 Dev Adam. Worth a Google. I will. That's a rabbit hole. I will gladly go down. Thank you for that. Yeah, Japanese Spider-Man. I'm very aware of that. That I love, yes. and that energy is part of Spider-Verse, and 100%. I always love that. The meme or GIF of Spider-Man just hammering things is one of my favorites. I used to use that all the time back in the old Tumblr days. So
Okay, kids, I'm putting it in the chat, and I will have it on screen momentarily.
let's all quietly watch this instead of book club.
All right,
Let's
there. Yeah, we'll see it in an hour.
Live watch of this thing. And there goes my Marvel contract. Anyway,
so yes, indeed, exactly. Cease and desist, everybody. The Disney cops will be.
Cease and desist.
Come on, absolutely. Do you have any fond memories from working on Young Justice?
Complete fond nothing but fond memories.
With the cartoon?
No, the book. I did the book almost the entire time I was at DC. It was the flagship book.
I'm sure. Of course you did. Yes, excuse me.
It was the flagship book of our pop-up
Your Wonder Comics.
It was only supposed to last a year. It lasted a couple. It's gorgeous. I got to work with John Timms. I got to work with Mike Grell. I got to work with it's hard to describe. Even though I'm not itching to go back. I enjoyed the work at DC, even though it was sad to watch the end of that era. It left me alone, and I loved writing Superman. I loved writing Legion of Superheroes, and again, I didn't come there and say I want my own line of comics. They're like, hey, we're going to do pop-ups. You want to do one? I'm like, hell yes. And then the pop-up was Young Justice, Wonder Twins, Dial H for Hero, and Naomi. I'm very happy we put those books out in the world. Couldn't be happier.
I don't know who Chud Babies is. He wants to know why do you
Chud Babies.
Why didn't you
Chud? Who are you, Chud Babies? I was too busy being lost. Okay. Well. Be as it may, we had Patrick Gleason. We had John Timms. We had I will say it's like one of those books, much like my Guardians of the Galaxy. Regardless of what you think of my choices, there ain't a bad looking page in that whole run. It's really exceptional. I also, being on Young Justice, you want to not do what Peter David did. You want to do something else. It's like when you're on X-Men, like you just don't want to do Claremont. You want to do something else. And it's hard when someone's done so much like Claremont and Peter David that it's hard to find space that their shadow isn't looming over. And I thought the mixture of characters and of new and old characters was a nice way to do it. And I don't know. I love the book. And if anyone asks me, yeah, please go read it, enjoy it. It was made with a lot of love.
With that in mind, going to what we'll get soon with Avengers 800, how would you characterize going back to the book?
Oh, going back to Avengers?
Yes.
Well, I will say, it was lovely to get the call.
Mm-hmm.
For people who don't know, I did leave. I did tender my resignation. When you tender your resignation, you tend to never no one calls you again that you've left. So I knew I was taking a chance that might be the end of the road. But the road must end somewhere. Also, I felt like I had gotten to a place where I had said all that there was to say. And that was a really big thing. I had written a lot of those characters and was coming around and writing them again with some time having gone by. Daredevil being one of them, where I was coming back to see what kind of a different writer I was. But I knew there were subtle differences. But for some others, it was you're repeating yourself. And I'm like, oh, maybe I am. And so leaving is the best way to make that not happen. So in these interim years, I have new things to say, new takeaways from the work as a whole, what I would do differently today versus what I did then, what I wish I could do again, a little bit more refined. These things were building up, but never would I be as obnoxious as to call them and go, I'm ready to come back. It's a jerk move. But CB, who I've known a very long time, called me last year and said, we have a few things we want to run by you. Some of them were because some anniversaries are coming up. Some of them we have some new things brewing, and we thought of you in a nice way. And I was like, oh, and the way that was worded, and also the way it was we don't want you to come back and do what you did before. Here's some new things and new spaces. And I think that's what you were looking for. And I was very grateful for that. And then I got together with them, And then Will Moss pulled me aside, who's the editor of the Avengers, and said, "Hey, I don't want to rush anything, but boy, Avengers 800 is right around the corner, and I've got this many pages. Would you be so nice?" Because for those you don't know, my debut on Avengers was Avengers 500. So like, and I do love anniversary issues, and so hey, would you like that to be your comeback? Like, come on back and just have some fun, and hey, maybe we can get Mark Bagley out of retirement. And who, for those you don't know, Mark Bagley and I did Ultimate Spider-Man together for many, many years. Another person I've never had anything but a delightful time with. But then went our separate ways a couple times over the years, as he went to DC once during our run on Spider-Man. People forget that he was doing Batman for a couple years while La Fuente was on the book. And so we both were coming and going, but always loved working with Mark. And then Mark literally did me the genuine honor of coming out of retirement, of an earned retirement, to do this story with me. I sent you, John, a page of it today, and I want you to know that, like, how I felt when I saw that page was this was Mark letting me know how he felt about working with me, right? Like this is how he was expressing, and so it was a very emotional, lovely experience where I got to just enjoy my old friends, the Avengers. We're not reinventing the wheel; it's just an anniversary issue, which is about the Avengers enjoying being with each other.
Just one?
Well, yeah, it's just this one story. It's not the only thing I'm doing at Marvel, but I'm not coming back.
You're not coming back full time to the Avengers.
No, that
just
was
for this
never
anniversary issue.
No, this is an anniversary. It's just me and Mark reuniting to do something lovely and special. I loved doing it, and then behind the scenes, that I moved right into the thing I'm doing with Sarah, that was equally emotional and special and lovely. And I must say, for those of you who don't know, like, this is one of those jobs you should really feel something when you're doing it. Usually, like, you're putting your heart on the table if you're doing it right. Even if it's a superhero smack around, there's a reason you're there. There's a thematic reason, and you're part of a history of character that you want to, not mess up with. So going back to these spaces with my friends and reuniting and keeping an eye on my joy levels. Like, am I enjoying this? And then feeling, oh yeah, I'm really enjoying this, was a great. And then reuniting with Sarah, and then also in Italy, I got to reunite with Gabriel Del Otto, who I did Secret War with. And it was really funny because in Italy, I was signing an insane amount of Secret War, which is a book I did over 20 years ago with this wonderful artist. I'm very proud of it. But I was signing like 3-1 of anything else I had ever done, like including Miles Morales. And I'm sitting next to Sarah, and I'm just signing one after the other. And I realized, oh, Gabriel is huge in Italy. He is a massive voice here. Including they made like artist editions of the Avengers annuals we did together at Panini. And then also I got to reunite with Andrea Sorrentino, who Lily came and gave me a piece of Old Man Logan art, because we did Old Man Logan together.
That's great.
And for people who don't know, we did 2 X-Men annuals together, which are in like the top 10 of my favorite things I've ever done in comics. He did an amazing job on this book. So it was great to just have dinner with him and really look him in the eye and go, man, it doesn't happen that great that often. It's just really, really something. So, so while all of this reuniting is going on, there's been a lot of genuine and wonderful emotions behind the scenes. Not to be braggy, just wanted to let you know there's a lot of love happening in the kitchen while we're cooking this stuff for you guys.
So, how many pages is Avengers 800?
15, I think.
Oh, the one story is just 15
it's a one story, but there's a lot of people that you saw.
Yeah, it's one of those anthology.
It's self-contained. I love the Avengers. Yeah.
Okay, because it was one. I mean, because again, there are storylines that you didn't get to that were kind of unresolved. Weren't there some future storylines involving
just the hints of things that could happen. Those I never look at those as like stories untold. Like, there are a couple of stories that once CB called, I went, oh, you know what I didn't get to do? And some of them are public. Some of them are like, oh, we may have even announced that and we didn't do it. Like Daredevil End of Days was supposed to have a Punisher End of Days. which is the pieces
I
didn't come
remember that.
together.
Yeah,
Not
we
that,
talked about that.
that's not on the table right now, but
Okay.
if that could come together, me and David would do that, right? But there's a couple things like that where when I left and had some distance, I'm like, oh, you know what? If I came back, I would like to do that.
Sure.
I didn't get to do that. So yeah, it just feels great. Can't thank everyone enough for being so supportive of it too. And it's been also nice. I was away enough time
Yeah,
that
7
people were
years, 8 years.
happy to have. There was, I mean, again, it's the internet, so there's a curve always, but there's a genuine sense of oh, welcome back, buddy, and it was very sweet and across the board.
Yeah, man, you spent almost 20 years, if not 20. You were close to that in your run, right?
Yeah, no, it was 19 plus.
Yeah,
consistent. Very, and if that was all there ever would be, that'd be great. And there's something cool. It's like even like it's been about 8 years since I've been gone, like 7-8 years.
Yeah.
It's enough time where people are thinking fondly. All they remember is the good stuff and the terrible stuff, but nothing in between. And yeah, it's been also my stuff's been in print the entire time, so there are people literally buying all new X-Men this month in omnibus form who've never read it before. It's great. I had like 6 omnibuses over the last 2 months. I'm thrilled with all of their existence. Couldn't be happier.
Beautiful. Not to mention Marvel Unlimited, obviously. So even
the people are constantly like, and I there's new stuff and there's old stuff, but there's some things different about the culture than the way we grew up, where there's just stuff like there's like some stuff is old, but there's also like people talk about our Daredevil run, not like it's some nostalgia run, like, you know what I mean? They I hear how people speak of stuff, and there's some stuff that's just stuff. And I see that with movies and TV shows as well. Like my daughter was in the car with me, she's 14, and she puts on The Killers, and I go, how old do you think that song is? She goes, Anna, I just heard on TikTok. I go, that song is 22 years old. Like, to her, brand new, right?
Of course.
So there's just like, that's not what it was for us. It was like new TV and reruns and like and old stuff. It's just different now, and I'm very glad for it. I did not see that coming.
I was trying to remember your Daredevil arc where, and you, and I think Maliv, I'm pretty sure it was Maliv that was drawing it, where you had the guy that Daredevil put away when he was in the yellow outfit, and you even had like flashback scenes in that old fashioned.
Yeah, I think it was called the Golden Age, or
something like that.
Yeah,
but
I drew
love
it with
that.
like Bendis and stuff. Yeah,
and it reminded me, Philip Kennedy Johnson has a really great arc in Batman and Robin where this ordinary crook gets out of jail, much like your character, and wants revenge. And first thing he does, he hits the Igloo, Penguin's hideout, beats the shit out of the Penguin and all of his henchmen. And he's just this guy. And that's what I love about it. And he doesn't have a costume. He has no powers. He's just a man on a mission. And he is fucking up Batman's world. And even Batman's like, I don't know what to do with this guy. And he hates Batman. He's like, how dare you put that kid Damian in such jeopardy? And it's fascinating. And and like I said, in the very general sense, it reminded me of your story with Alex and stuff.
It's very much like a crime fiction, like a very Elmore Leonard, like Jim Thompson idea, where this guy is 100% the star of his own movie, only to him, right? Not to anyone else in the universe. I'm also a big fan of Phil Kennedy Johnson. We've had some wonderful moments together. It was nice handing off Superman to him, and we got to be in Cleveland together for the big Superman thing this summer, and we had the best time with our kids. It was really, really great.
He fast became a good friend, and truly, with his army stuff, has had times where he's come to Chicago, and it's like, hey man, we got to get lunch or we got to get dinner. I'm like, of course, man. So we had this great thing at one of our high schools, and it was a one-day convention to support after-school programs. I would not have had the job in broadcasting if it weren't for after-school programs. And so, of course, I was all behind it. And the guy who organized it was the music teacher at the school. And he got Philip to come in, and he did a writing seminar with English students for a couple hours. And then he did one with the music students as well. And then Saturday was the convention. And yeah, man, I'm like, oh, this is so great. And I'm so happy.
Yeah.
And no, he's a mensch. He's fantastic. So
James Bunt says that Sarah Pacelli is one of the most underrated artists of the 21st century. I must tell you, having had a front row seat to some of her best moments, I fully agree. And the reason we offered her to join us on Miles Morales after just doing a few issues on Ultimate Spider-Man is because it was like a hurricane watching her come in, because some of the best comic book creators, because comics is such a bastard art form that like kind of eagerly needs you to come at it with some new idea. And she was coming at the character designs and her storytelling from almost a fashion like the world of like fashion. Like if you look at the early issues of Miles Morales and look at Gwen Stacy's outfits and how elaborate they are and how designed they are, and there's more going on in the characters, like wardrobe choices, than just about any book I've ever been part of with any artist. And the artists take it very seriously, but I had never seen so much detail go into every single like production design choice that Sarah was making. And and then leaned into it quickly when I saw how special it was. And again, we're right back into it this week, and she handed in some layouts, and literally it was like I was asleep when the layouts came in, and by the time like 20 people had already said Jesus, like it was, everyone had already reacted. And man, look at her go. She's something. I do have in Italy, I just filmed her, because her life is she has to draw Miles Morales 7,000 times at a convention. And I was like, we were playing, guess what Sarah's drawing? And it was always, is it Voltron? No. Oh, it's Miles Morales. Okay. It was, so I'm going to put it all together. I have literally like 20 videos of Sarah trying to guess what Sarah's drawing, and it's always Miles Morales.
The photos are great, man. And no, I'm really glad that you got to hang out with them all and everything, and CB, of course. No, that's great. Some okie dude. One of the things I really liked about your Daredevil run was how it took the concept of Born Again and took it to its most logical conclusion. Absolutely. My favorite was when he grabbed the stone and he etched bullseye in his forehead and stuff.
Well, that's a mixture stuff. Number one, David Mack and I grew up, obsessing over Frank Miller's Daredevil. That's the age we were. Like sometimes, and I know there are books some of you are reading now that are that for you in the culture, that like someone is just wailing and you're like, well, this is defining me. And so I grew up in a time where Frank Miller was on Daredevil, Walt Simonson was on Thor, and like all my heroes were on like legendary books, kicking ass when it seemed like a daily basis. And so when we were lucky enough to get Daredevil as an assignment, like you are now the authors of Daredevil, it became a compulsory to both of us to not imitate Frank Miller. Like they're like, we must know. And also because I worked in the comic store and I saw how many people were ripping off Frank Miller, like how many fucking Acclaim comics were like just trying to do Sin City or some version of Frank. Yeah, just like everyone was trying to do, oh, is that what you like? We'll do that. No, they like it because he has an original idea. It was so obvious that the lesson of Frank Miller was have an original idea or go back to the well. Like Frank went back to the well. And if you read those first issues of Daredevil, they are pulp hero comics. They are not superhero comics. They're written like the Shadow. They're drawn like the Shadow. And Dick Tracy, that's what it felt like. Yeah. So we went back and did the same thing and kind of built our own thing. And then was really into that because of Born Again and some other storylines like that boy, Matt Murdock was loose-lipped with his secret identity. Like you may Google eyes at Matt Murdock, he's going to go, I'm Daredevil. And like getting permission, not only to like do that storyline, but then to say, hey, it's really kind of like a no backs idea. Like this is what the book is about now. There's not going to be like Mephisto's not going to show up. It's just going to like, this is what we're going to do. And now, wouldn't it be cool if there was a book where someone blew their secret identity and the fallout is enormous and constant and every other book knows it, right? Like those who had secret identities. And also it was watching the idea of secret identities evolve around us as we were going. It just seemed like, even if you guys pay attention to MCU, The only one with a secret identity is Peter Parker. Everyone else is very publicly known to be who they are, for better or for worse. It's just a different relationship to what we grew up with as a cliche of the genre.
Well, you and I were discussing that when that was happening, and of course, your Superman run.
Yes, which is a different kind of story. That's him deciding. That's him owning it himself.
But has your opinion of is a secret identity necessary, or or is it a trope that we should get away from? That was the vibe I was getting from you back then.
Yeah, it just seemed
your
like
opinion evolved since.
It evolves with me, because you look now, like even the culture's relationship to masks is polarized. Like if you're wearing a mask, or even if you're an authority figure and you're wearing a mask, well, fuck you. Like there's that is not the world I was writing Daredevil in, right? Or Superman. But it was like that. The relationship to what a secret identity used to be. If you're a secret identity on the internet, you're cool, and now it's like. Right. What are you hiding?
What are you hiding?
And again, these are generalizations, but there is the culturally stuff to talk about and think about while you're writing it. And it certainly affected my relationship to like the truth of Superman. If like he's about truth and justice, that's the theme. If Spider-Man is power and responsibility, for Superman it's truth and justice. And if the first thing he does every morning is pretend to be somebody else, that's not truthful. And wouldn't that one day you wake up and go, hey, wait a minute, I'm not being truthful. And also, why am I pretending to be Clark Kent? To protect Lois Lane? Hey, guess what? Everyone knows Lois Lane knows who Superman and Lois Lane are together. Like, it's not protecting. It's the same friend group. They all know him, right? So who's he protecting? And if anything, saying, oh no, I'm Superman, don't come near this building. Is a much more deterrent.
Again, I respected the choice. I questioned you when you told me about
the choice. No, I wanted the conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's, dude, this is the thing. And
I wasn't the first person to do it too, by the way.
Absolutely. But this is the thing that people have to understand, and forgive me, because it is a wide comic book reading group. But sometimes writers, as we know, will provoke a, hey, what are they doing attitude by design. And it isn't just, I'm going to do something weird just to piss all of you Spider-Man fans off.
I could never do that.
Yeah,
I couldn't get past it in my head. Like I have to have
no.
And also, I'm a Joe Quesada baby, and Joe Quesada taught us. And then what? All right, and if the and then what doesn't pour 6 awesome new stories out of your head, then don't do it. Then there's no reason to do it. Well, and that's like a lot of my best moments at Marvel were like, hey, we're going to make Norman Osborn the head of Avengers. And then what? Yeah, then you get this, and this. Oh, then that by all means,
sure.
Let's have at it. Right.
I think Joe Kelly is experiencing some of that anger, and it's like, no, there's a point to this right now with his Spider-Man run.
I tell every creator, starting with their superhero runs or not, do the big swing. Because some of the stuff I got dinged on hard on this podcast, people are all they remember is that it was a good idea. Like now, I think I mentioned this last time we were on the thing. I saw that Instagram where they were doing a Lifetime Achievement Award for like Francis Ford Coppola, and Al Pacino goes, it really is amazing. It's exactly what people said. All the people ever remember and give you awards for is the stuff you got fired for. All the stuff that was controversial at the time is all that anyone ever talks about as your best stuff, and that is I have found that to be true as well. All this stuff, like, and I laughed when I was telling my son this the other day, like he was watching like audience reaction videos of Avengers Endgame, and you can hear the audience go nuts when Ronan shows up. And I remember having a very like, you guys gave me a lot of shit about Ronan, and now you're applauding him, or now they're like, bring Ronan back. And I'm like, okay, yeah.
The wheel turns.
Fascinating.
Yes. What did you think?
But to answer your original question, I still ask the question about secret identities and heroism and protecting the loved ones and all of the good and pluses. It felt like at the moment, I felt like it was being taken for granted as a dramatic idea. Like if you had a secret identity, and there are people who carry around with them secrets in their lives. They don't feel safe expressing who they are sexually or identifying wise, and they just have to, this goes back hundreds of years,
of course,
and they don't feel safe expressing who they are. But it weighs on you. It's not something you think about it all the time. It's not like something you take for granted and move on with your day. It's constantly on your mind. So I wanted it to be less of a cliche of the moment and something that would be like, yeah, I have a secret identity and I'm a lawyer. That is a troublesome area I have put myself into. So So again, to write the story is to say I don't have an answer. I just want to explore the idea and tell stories and see what they illuminate. And I'm thrilled having now, again, just being in Italy with a bunch of people who are just reading Daredevil like it was a new book. I'm thrilled that it aged pretty well. Like there's only a couple pop culture references where I go, but in the overall, it seems to age pretty good.
Oh no, it's absolutely.
You can't control it. That's
James Tynion, what he did with Alan Scott, making him a closeted gay man in the 1940s. Because and no disrespect to James Robinson, but when they made Alan Scott gay in that Earth 2 alternate Justice Society, I'm like, why? I'm like, make a new gay Green Lantern. But to go back to Alan Scott's beginnings, and like, not only is he worried about people knowing that he's Green Lantern, but he has this secret life that he's got to keep in a very closeted period of our culture. Now you're telling an interesting story, and now you have my attention.
Yeah, and again, these things we grow, our understanding of things grow. Like my wife was watching something. It was some years ago, and she was like, "Man, the conversation about mental health has just evolved dramatically. Just even how like episodes of The Office handled stuff versus like things that we now know to be on the spectrum and how they were handled even 20 years ago for jokes, and today would be there would be humor there, but it'd be coming from a different space, right?
Great.
It's fascinating, and I'm sure that in my work too, as we age into and evolve as a culture, there's things change.
I'm hip. No, I agree.
Someone wrote something nice about
Young Justice,
Stephanie Brown. Yeah, I can tell you, any amount of time I spent with any character like that, I have a lot of love and respect for, and the answer is yes. Like I loved Tim Drake and Stephanie and where they were in there, and sometimes it's like where you are in their journey, like you get to like join on, like the story of Tim and Stephanie continues, and you're here for this part of it, and what can you do additive to help it along or to enjoy it as and sometimes it changes like soon after you're gone.
Was your take on Tim that he was bisexual or no?
No, not at the time, but
Yeah.
I did have the very hardcore opinion that he is the best Robin.
And
I would say that, and half the internet would never let me up off the mat because I said that out loud. But I did know by saying that I was like inciting to yell that out on the internet during a pandemic when no one's got anything better to do than go, "Fuck you, Baldy."
I know people right now that are very mad at Fraction for the way he's using Tim Drake, and it's so innocuous, and I love it. But he's like, well, he's got he's taking driving lessons with Batman, and he was driving his dad around and had a special permit as a young man because his dad was handicapped, and so he needed Tim to drive him around. And I'm like, dude, comic history is fluid. I'm like, and this is a guy who's kind of in the business, and I'm like, you got to relax, man. I go, if that's your big bee in your bonnet, although again, and we know my Star Trek list of problems and infractions that I go nuts about. But I mean, listen, I not just because he's our friend, I do love what Matt's doing with Batman right now.
Yeah, I do too. I'm shock of all shocks. I love my friend's Batman, but it's also just wonderful, and you've seen it quite a few times where not only do they have the gig, but you can see, I'm rolling up my sleeves and I'm gonna do something here, right?
Swing for the fences,
and they swing for the fences.
Damn right.
And then the audience goes, yes, please. And a lot of times for us behind the scenes, it's sometimes 6 months to a year build up, watching your friend really roll up their sleeves and go, man, I hope this lands. I hope so. And you're like, I hope so too. And like with Kelly Sue with Historia, that book was in production for 4 years. And we kept looking at it going, is this amazing? This is amazing. This is, well, we're not like just like loving our friend. Like this is special stuff. And then the audience sees it and you're like, yay. Yes, I will say,
So people for the audio,
yep.
NFJ Spidey is saying, can't wait for Fraction and Lieber's Carnage and Jimmy Olsen crossover story. Yeah.
I have known the punchline of that story for a very long time. I cannot wait for you guys to see it. It is.
I just re-released.
They're going to literally have to put a new Jimmy Olsen hardcover together to include that storyline.
You know, somebody asked when I was talking to Matt about Batman, like, is Jimmy going to encounter Batman and everything? And it's like, he's like, no, man, it's a different head. You know, it's like, and it would be from Batman's perspective. And, you know, he goes, that was the fun of obviously the Jimmy book was seeing Batman from Jimmy's perspective and everything.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I just re-released for people who maybe missed it on the feed, my talk with Lieber about both the Jimmy Olsen run, but also his Metamorpho that he did with Al Ewing, which is a forgotten classic. It only ran 6 issues. They got canceled. It is such a shame and obviously it was meant to tie into the movie, but it was so great because it, much like their just like Lieber and Fraction's Jimmy Olsen, it evoked the vibe of Ramona Fradon, but it was absolutely fresh, absolutely new, and it pushed all my buttons. And again, as an old fart that loves the original stuff, it was great. But they had new things to say about not only Metamorpho, but Simon Stagg and his whole crew and everything. Sapphire.
So
Java.
Steve, a lot of people in Portland know this, but Steve is legitimately low key because he's a low key energy person. But he is one of the most important people in modern comics, in my opinion. He has spent now decades of his life helping run Helioscope Studios, which is one of the largest comic book studios, which houses dozens of creators of many walks of life. I'm part of the comic studies program at Portland State University. He is not a professor. He is just available to all the students all the time for anything they need. He goes to, there's a comic store here in Portland called Books with Pictures, and every other Friday he shows up and he just judges your portfolio and gives you tips and sends you on your way. He doesn't do it for money. He doesn't do it for any other reason than he is, those are wired to give back and help. He is someone who has absolutely mastered his art form. He's an exceptional artist, and he spends every free moment he has helping anyone who wants it, help them get to their goal. I have told every one of my students, if I was you, I would be stalking this motherfucker like no one's business. What a gift that Steve Lieber is floating around willing to just help you, right? And how hard it was to find anyone to help us when we were coming up, right? Just because you didn't know anybody, right?
Right.
And there's someone who says, I will be standing here on a Friday and I will help you if you need help. What a gift. So when Steve Lieber rolled up his sleeves and did that amazing Jimmy Olsen wraparound cover for the hardcover, I think you could feel not only were we all excited to be on that silly cover, but it's like, oh my God, Steve Lieber drew us. Steve Lieber, we're part of one of Steve Lieber's great moments in comics, which by definition will be one of the great moments of comics because it's Steve. So I know that Steve, I've known Steve a long time now, and I know that he will never say any of these words I just said about him out loud and wouldn't put up with it if he was in the room. So I just thought I'd put it on record that this is what I've known to be the truth of Steve Lieber. There are some people that behind the scenes are garbage monster, selfish assholes that do everything in their power to stop other people from accelerating or enjoying or getting anything that they have because they're so terrified that their thing is going to go away, right? And then there are these other people who just nothing about their wiring is anything but let me help you feel how I feel when I make my comics and they don't suck. And that's what Steve Lieber's whole jam is. Lecture over. Steve Lieber TED Talk over.
Well, no, I'll put an addendum on that and say when I stayed with Brian in 2018 for the Rose City show, and I stayed 5 days with him, which I was the thing that wouldn't leave. I spent
not how I remember it, but
I know you guys, both you and Elisa, and really the kids, they were all lovely. Everybody was lovely. But I got to spend time at Helioscope, and yeah, I'm friends with Jeff Parker, and he's been a longtime friend, and I love Jeff and everything. But I really got to know Lieber on that trip, and he's and Sarah as well, his wife, and they are lovely people, and yeah, and he is everything that Brian said, and I'm so glad because he will show up occasionally on our Scene Missing show. And that's great because he's an old movie freak as well. And no, he's really terrific. And I mean, again, I had no idea because again, he is such a soft-spoken guy. Superior Foes of Spider-Man, the thing he did with Nick Spencer is amazing. And again,
there's a lot of wins. The Fix with Nick Spencer,
yes,
a lot of stuff going back many, many years. And I'm thrilled that as he ages into his reputation as just this wonderful artist, but it's also what's going on behind the scenes. Yeah,
that's beautiful, man.
Yeah, follow him on social media if you're interested in the art form. He's a giver.
So for the audio audience, Steve Lieber has a great cheat sheet called Your Portfolio Critique that people can Google. It's amazing. So that's good to know.
And the number one thing on there is get your old work out of there. This is something that's been going on that we've seen. Like I did it when I was a kid too. When you're like improving dramatically as an artist, as you're younger, you keep your old stuff in to show, look how much better I am. And now as I'm older, I know, that's a huge mistake. Only show your best new stuff. We know as humans, you didn't start this good, that you built to this good. So you don't have to show us that you got better. Just show us where you are and where you're going, not where you were. So that's a big one. Very important question. I'm glad. Yes. Should the movie I watched tonight be Clock Stoppers, directed by Jonathan Frakes, Powers director Jonathan Frakes, or Laputa Castle in the Sky? Now listen, it's Castle in the Sky. It's not even close. But if you're looking for other recommendations, I never got to do my movies of the year. So probably Best Picture is one battle after another. It's an incredible film that does stay with you like a great 70s film that it's firmly based on. It like stays with you for a while. It's kind of incredible. The Leonardo DiCaprio movie. It's really something. But my personal taste, there were a couple movies that were very inspirational to Powers 25 as well, because they were directors who are returning to something they already did excellent work in, but had something new to say. The first one, I think I mentioned it last time we were on the air together, but it was 28 Years Later by Danny Boyle. This movie shocked the shit out of me. I'm a big Danny Boyle fan. I'm not a big zombie guy. I do love this franchise, even though it's weirdly a franchise. But
I agree.
He literally returns to the scene of a crime 25 years later, films it on iPhones, and about every 10 minutes, the movie reveals itself to be something else than what you thought it was 10 minutes ago. These are my favorite kind of movies. They're hard to pull off because once you set the table, you're kind of making a promise that this is what the table is going to be like, and then you keep taking stuff off the table. Another director who does this a lot and did it, one of my favorite ones was No Sudden Moves by Steven Soderbergh, where that's with Don Cheadle and Matt Damon's in it, and not a lot of people saw it. It was an early pandemic movie, but boy, it's one of the best Soderberghs, and it's a movie where every 10 minutes you go, oh, I thought this was about that, and it's about this. Oh, I'm actually interested in this too. So this year, Soderbergh also put out a movie called Black Bag, starring Cate Blanchett and Michael Fassbender. I believe it's on Peacock right now. This is a movie very much like the movie Soderbergh would have made in the 90s, but everything about it was evolved and elevated and more subtle and exciting. I've watched it a few times now. It's an incredible motion picture. And as we were talking earlier in the broadcast about like pining away for these mid-level movies, these like, what they call $20-30 million, like they don't cost 150, they don't cost 10, like right in the middle.
Yeah.
And this one didn't do well in theaters, but it's exceptional. And it's around, Soderbergh keeps doing this. Like every once in a while, he puts out some low-key masterpiece like Lucky Louie that aren't Ocean's movies, but they're way up there with them as far when you watch them. And Black Bag is very much a John le Carré British spy film, and it's almost like a chamber piece. It's incredible.
It's interesting that the Brits are able to make mid-budget movies still. I even watched on Netflix the Thursday Murder Club.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, I mean, that's part of the problem is they're making them. They're just in a different format than they used to be.
Yes,
they're just it's just a different market, or they think it's a different market. I'm not sure it is, but these storytelling, like there are comedies. They're just not theatrical Judd Apatow movies.
Right.
They're Kristen Bell married a rabbi. Show.
But also in tone, I agree with that.
Yeah.
And mentioning Apatow and some of the others, I think the raunchy theater comedy is over as far as theatrical release. I don't see them. They tried with Jennifer Lawrence and that movie.
That movie made money, though. I mean, that's a part. Yeah,
good.
Raunchy comes in waves. Even Siskel and Ebert did a couple of special episodes about this, where naughty comes in waves. Like sometimes the audience is like
ready for it.
We'll go through and I will give Quentin Tarantino some credit. He's gone deep diving into this on his podcast about how when the culture kind of gets puritanical, like when there's something like when they start tightening the screws and everything has to be really, buttoned up and the ties buttoned
repressed.
up.
Yeah.
2 years later, all hell's going to break loose.
Good.
Like it's then John Waters pops out.
I hope so.
Like that's what happens, and things get naughty and sexy and dirty, and then they get weird, and then everything gets buttoned up again, right?
Yeah.
And then if you watch like the history of like horror movies in the 70s and 80s, they went like Halloween came out, I'm like, oh my God, what a way to tell a story. And then suddenly the story POV shifted. Like we're not watching it from the POV of Jamie Lee Curtis. We're watching it from the POV of the killer, and that's creepy. And why are we doing that? And then it goes away. Like I don't think Porky's going to come back as a TV show, but there is like sexy, naughty things on TV right now.
Oh, absolutely.
That are very much like stuff we grew up with,
and
when we would see like Jacqueline Bisset in something when we were growing up.
Last with Rob Lowe, yes.
That's right. That's exactly. Yeah.
Honestly, I don't know if you've seen on the feed, Brian, but I talked to Mr. Skin, the guy who does the
Yes, I know. I see that and I laugh because that is such a I can't believe he's still in business.
Well, and it's fascinating and truly, and it's the greatest compliment because he's still whatever morning zoos still exist. He comes on those. All right,
he's on Howard Stern all the time.
Yes, who's got the best butt? Who's got the best breasts? Okay, fine. But I'm like, isn't it interesting that raunch has gone away from the movies, but it's all over TV now? And everything, Euphoria and everything else. I mean, the entire career of Sydney Sweeney, all these things that have happened, and it's interesting. And that's what I talked to him about is that now it's not on movies anymore; it's all on TV. But also, you still need character and story. That Johnny Depp series, his daughter, The Idol, that was on HBO, which was incredibly graphic, but sucked because there was
bad TV. And then they say it's because of the raunchiness. No, that was just bad story.
Bad characters. Just like Vinyl, the show about the record business in the 70s. I felt The Idol was the same thing, where it was a good idea but poorly executed. And it's like, no, you blew it. Because again, you forgot about story and character. But
all right, we got some B things here. We got some things about typewriter movies. I'm really into whatever this happened here.
Do either of you get into certain movies in part because they feature a certain type of thing you're nerdy about? Example, I really like movies that feature typewriters.
You just like the sound. I'm what you're referring to is one of my favorite like late in life ideas about some, like how much of it is music. Like you just like the sound of typewriters. You just like the clickety clack. Like some people like love the sound of hospitals in medical shows. I don't, because I have severe medical trauma, and if I hear that beeping, I gotta like leave the room, right? But people like love that sound. It's comforting to them, right? But like the click clack of a typewriter people love that sound. And yes, and sadly, because they're of a time that you don't like hear them anymore, but like Spielberg a few years ago made a movie called The Post, which was about like Watergate, and that was a typewriter movie.
Washington Newsroom. Yeah, Washington Post Newsroom.
And The Paper by Ron Howard.
Yeah.
With Michael Keaton running the newsroom. Just the typewriter sound never stops.
Well,
and also All the President's Men. It's like it's like drums hammering. It's
yes.
Yeah.
You know,
so like a lot of times there's just like the way things feel or sound. It's like there's musicality. Like even like watching my daughter love the Gilmore Girls, and it's like, oh, you just like the sound. You just like how the dialogue sounds a certain way that's easy to the ear, and it's the same kind of like, I like the way Lady Gaga sings. Like it's the same. It's a song, and you like how it's sung.
For years, for news radio, they would constantly have a teletype sound effect, which was inaccurate or an inaccurate. You know what I'm saying? An inaccurism or whatever.
Anachronistic. Yeah.
Inaccureness. Thank you very much. That's the word. But yeah, because again, it evokes that newsroom, like you were saying about All the President's Men and those movies, and The Post and The Paper and things. Yeah, man. And no, I'm absolutely about that. And I mean, it was one of the exciting things when I worked in news radio was to be in that atmosphere. And there were no typewriters anymore. Everybody was on computers. Mm-hmm. But yeah, man, no, it evokes that. Lou Grant was like that TV show.
They did an episode about it, Larry Sanders, where he was just writing his autobiography, and he says, "I love the clickety clack." You know,
come on.
Some people have their computers set up to make that sound when they're typing.
Well, Rucka told me, and I bought one because the keys on a laptop are just so flat, and he told me you can buy a keyboard that they look like an old fashioned typewriter keyboard. I love it. I absolutely, and that's what I prefer to type on and stuff, and it's fantastic, and it's worth the loss of a USB port to plug it in and be able to do that.
Tom Hanks is weirdly into typewriters.
Yes, he is.
If you follow him on Instagram,
it's
almost like a typewriter porn account. So, there are things like that. There are things that I if it's about that, I gravitate to them. And it's usually thematic, and it's usually like an energy kind of thing. It's hard for me to describe, but like I know it when I see it. But I get like, and Black Bag is filled with it. It's just like every actor has an actor secret, and you can just watch it all day and like decide different things when you're watching it. It's just my favorite kind of thing.
Well, and being a broadcast guy, any movie that takes place in a broadcast studio or, that kind of, or, early TV.
Yeah. We both worked in newsrooms. I love newsroom TV shows because they're mostly very accurate. They're mostly, unless they're terribly not accurate, but mostly there's a lot of observation went into it. And most storytellers take that space seriously.
Sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's going to be an interesting Oscar year with directors because there are a lot of guys that are back with new product like Linklater and Boyle and these other guys and stuff. Is Boyle qualified for this year? Or was that last year? 20?
Yeah, no. 28 Years Later isn't going to get any nominations. I actually literally think it's my favorite film of the year, but I'm alone in this.
Okay.
And also, like,
you never know.
Even in that space, Sinners and Weapons is just a more refined, and bigger hits.
Sure.
And if Michael B. Jordan doesn't win Best Actor, there's something wrong. Like that was by far the best performance, even though Leo is really good too. Like
I said, Ethan Hawke in Blue Moon.
Yeah.
At the very least, he's going to get a nomination.
So and Weapons really, and I know people know that the guy who did Weapons is attached to Torso now, but having recently watched Weapons, I was like, wow, goddamn, this guy's really good, and the choices were quite exceptional.
What can you tell us about Torso right now?
Just the magic of having something be optioned for now 30 years in a row without it being made, having come, as we've discussed numerous times over the years together, how many very legitimately close calls.
Give the list, Brian.
Has had. Oh, the First of all, we got optioned very early, so me and Mark got to do a draft of it at Dimension Films, which no longer exists, and then David Fincher got attached. David Fincher had me to his office where he showed me all the pre-work. The movie was greenlit as a David Fincher film in black and white, starring Matt Damon and John Malkovich and Casey Affleck and Rachel McAdams. Brian, sit down. Let me show you what we did. They went to Cleveland. They redid all my research. It felt like one of my heroes giving me a test that I accidentally passed. It was a great day in my life. I was so excited because I was even like, I remember even thinking, even if this is the worst David Fincher film, that's pretty great. Like he hasn't made a bad movie, right? And it's in black and white. I'm gonna cry. Like, oh, it's not gonna make a dime, and I'm gonna be so happy, right? And then the movie went away because of some studio stuff that had nothing to do with me or Mark and Draco. It just, we got a call. The movie's greenlit. 3 days later, hold on. 2 days later, it's over. It's not happening. And it's just, and that happens sometimes. I've had other friends that it's happened to where it's a go picture. It's not a go picture. But it was in the moment. So that went away. And then Paul Greengrass was attached for a while. And there were some other people attached for a while. And then just before the pandemic, someone who was my friend, Corin Hardy, the director of Gangs of London and The Nun, he was attached, and me and this writer Robin Veach went to Cleveland and started putting it all together for working title Universal. And then the pandemic happened, and then that went away. And then
Frank Oz before Fincher?
Oh no, Frank Oz was attached to Powers, and in fact, I just found the screenplay, the original Powers screenplay that does not work. It is literally the story of asshole Christian Walker who has no partner. It didn't work. It's literally like if they made Men in Black and it was just all Will Smith from the point of view of the aliens. It's literally that. It doesn't work. And
all right,
but I'm thrilled I have it. I'm thrilled I got to work with Frank Oz. He was super cool.
Yeah.
It's someone who's made great movies, and I love him. And Bowfinger's a classic.
Oh God, yeah. Even the score is a great crime movie.
It's problematic performance, and right in the middle of it aside. It's hard. Yeah. I've seen a clip recently. I was like, that's hard to watch.
That's fair. That is fair.
So, but he is the asshole of the story, so it kind of holds up, but it's still pretty rough.
It's a little rough. No, I respect that. And of course, the aborted Powers FX pilot.
Yes, and again, I've revisited some of these projects recently, and they were all behind the scenes, tremendous experiences. Even all of this ups and downs with Torso. What a fun day we're having. You get to call Mark and Draco and go, hey, we just got optioned again. And then so last summer, we were at the Chernin Company, which is a fancy company. They had optioned it. And it's also weirdly, and again, I'm only speaking from the way other people said it, one of these projects that other producers are tracking to see where it is. There's a few projects like this. And I found out Torso has always been one of them.
Cool.
And so every time we're up for grabs, someone does grab us. And it's usually someone very cool and exciting, and the possibilities are there. Right. So middle last summer, my agent calls, and I'll try to be cool, but someone very cool wants to option this. And I'm like, oh, that's awesome. I would love that. And then the agent then goes to another producer at Netflix, a guy named Roy Lee, who's produced Weapons and Barbarian and the Minecraft movie and all like a hit after hit after hit. And they goes, I know you're interested in Torso. They're about to option it. And then Netflix swooped in and like blew it out of the water so the other people couldn't have it. I would have loved to be with the other people too. Wasn't meant to be. Instead, we got the Zach Kreger, Roy Lee, Eat the Cat combination at Netflix with some promises on the table that look very exciting to me as what it could be as a story. I would love if it gets made. I do not expect it to get made because I would be full. But it's been 30 years. I did have the interesting thing where I said to my lawyer, who's been with us this entire time, and I said, "Hey, I have a weird question. What's the longest a book has been optioned and not made? Like, what are we close to the record? Because we're now in decades." And then the answer was so quick, it was so funny. He goes, "Nope, not even close. Dune was optioned for 50 years before they made it."
Wow.
And supposedly, and I haven't Googled this to find out if it's true or not, the movie Frozen is based on a book that Disney has constantly optioned for over 70 or 80 years. So we're not even close.
Wow.
Yeah, until they finally made it. Yeah.
For people who don't know, and because it's really worth checking out the actual graphic novel that Mark Andreyko and Brian made. Torso is the story of Elliot Ness after the Untouchables. He became the safety director. It is absolutely a true story. It's about when the city of Cleveland was having its problems with crime and went to Elliot Ness and said, "Come from Chicago to Cleveland and be our safety director." I believe was
basically police commissioner. Yeah,
clean
but
up,
safety director.
Clean up Cleveland. And all of a sudden, the serial killer comes on the scene. And this is Elliot
and
Ness.
One of the first in the world, one of the first in America. The idea of a serial killer didn't exist. The pathology of serial killing, which is now prevalent in our culture, like you can watch a million TV shows about it. None of it existed. So everyone's like, "What's happening? Like, what? Where are all these bodies coming from?" And it's just literally the story of a man who was famous for one thing and decided that he was now good to do everything, and that. It's weirdly a cultural idea that has not dated itself. We still live in a world where people take jobs they are not suited for and are determined they can get it done, and they can't.
And I think because of, and I know it's been 40 years, but because of the De Palma Untouchables movie, which still gets replayed because of Costner and Connery, that I think that
and Ennio Morricone. Sorry.
I think the Elliot Ness story is still enough in the zeitgeist that I think it would be appealing. And like everyone's been saying right now, that they really hope it happens.
Yeah, I hope so too. I hope you hear genuine enthusiasm mixed with a zen. I have no control over it. I have no control over if the Spider-Verse movies get made. I have no control over Jessica Jones still being on TV. It just things happen. And I go with it when it works out well. Sure. And I try, and when it's my turn to try really hard to get something made, I try really, really hard. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But you have to have a zen about it. And also, I also have the, and I'll tell this to everyone who's thinking about it, unless you're like, I'm going to be a filmmaker, then go be a filmmaker and do everything you can to make films and nothing will stop you. I'm a comic book creator, so I'm not beholden to Hollywood to get anything I want made. I got empty papers and I got my friends, and I'm lucky enough to have a place where I can publish some of this stuff. So it is very exciting that I get to do new things. So I do not waste a lot of time waiting around for people to say, yeah, we'll think about it. Because that again, it's been 30 years. If I was sitting there waiting around for Torso to get made, right? But meanwhile, the book exists. It's still in print. We're putting on it. We just found out we're getting a new printing because of the news. So it still moves books a little Hollywood interest. That's very cool. But for those of you who just want to make your comics. If Hollywood comes calling, great, go for it. It's cool. I have loved even the stuff that blew up in my face. How delightful that happened. But don't let it distract you from the goal, which is make your comics.
Amen.
And I hope I don't sound like a hypocrite, because I know some other people, they see my name and stuff.
I know.
But it's because I stay the course, do the comics. Don't worry about anything else.
Regarding movies, and especially given that you are constantly watching new movies and things, do you have, someone asked very early in the conversation about noir films, and do you have time? Do you make time to see old stuff that you've never seen before?
Oh, first of all, sadly, there's not much old stuff I haven't seen. When I discovered, I started working on this book called Goldfish, which was one of my
Yes.
first crime comics. And I was about 30 pages in when I went to see this movie, Visions of Light, which is on YouTube. It's a movie about cinematography.
Yes.
And there's about a 20-minute chunk in the movie about the origins and the authors of the language of film noir, which is John Alton, the cinematographer, for T-Men and all these crime movies that were coming out, these dirty, seedy, like shadow-caked black and white movies where the blacks are black and the whites are white. And I was already invested in this language without fully understanding that I was part of a generational legacy. Like, I didn't get it. When this movie came out, I saw it in the theaters, and it was like a religious experience for me where I was like, oh, this is where I live. This is what speaks to me. And I then dove in hardcore for decades. And also many of my heroes were already trying to point me in that direction. Scorsese was already writing the foreword to John Alton's book called Painting with Light. And like all of my modern heroes of storytelling were already pointing back and going, watch fucking T-Men. I stole every shot from there, including Tarantino and all these people. Like, well, look, this is where I got my stuff from. So I have multiple copies of many of the great classics and weird crime weirdness that goes back. And also there's always pockets. It happened in the 70s. It happened in the 90s, where there's an enormous amount of crime fiction being cooked, usually because something was a hit. It happened in comics too. When Sin City was a hit, a lot of people said, oh, that's what you want, and tried to do that.
Sure.
And every once in a while, out of that comes some really hidden gems of stuff. Then we're talking about stuff that kind of comes and goes. As a hardcore genre baby who loves crime fiction, it's amazing how genre has become more like a spice and a flavor than a lane, right?
Ingredient.
So there's a lot of excellent crime fiction out now, but it's like crime fiction comedy. Somebody brought up like Caught Stealing or
the Knives Out movie too.
The Knives Out movie. There's stuff that comes out that is, or the Gentleman. Like, there's tons of spy thrillers with a British actor from Pirates of the Caribbean. Like they're out there that are being well told, and so it's all out there. Slow Horses. I know it's a spy drama. It's also a crime fiction piece.
Yeah, of course it is. Sure it is.
So a lot of it's out there, and a lot of the proprietors of these stories take their language very seriously, and there's a lot of people elevating the space that they're in right now. And I would also include Blue Eye Samurai into that space. And I get and this loads up to my early days with Jinx, where I'm like watching The Good, the Bad, the Ugly, going, this is a crime movie. That's a Western, but it's a crime movie. They committed a crime and they're dealing with it, right? And then I got all like hopped up in my head about what genre is and where I can explore it. So that's why most of my superhero comics are crime comics. They're 100% like Ultimate Spider-Man is starring in a crime comic. It's the Kingpin, and he won't go to jail no matter what happens. That's a crime comic. So I would use the languages and rules that I was learning from my heroes and apply them directly to other genres to see where the genre was.
Again, on our Scene Missing show, we sometimes pick Westerns.
I should go on this show.
What's that?
I should come on this show.
Yeah, I would love for you to come on the show. I mean, it's hard, it's hard to pin, we get a couple of people. It's hard to do a group show, but absolutely. We did Gun the Man Down, which is a James Arnaz late 50s. It's Angie Dickinson's one of her first movies. And it absolutely is a crime movie disguised as a Western.
And it's fascinating to me what those are. And there's a lot of war movies that are actually crime movies, and a lot of like the great crime novels are post-war morality stories.
Yes, very much so.
Yeah, and right now we're in the fantastical. Like, there's also spaces where everything is fantastical, and there's a lot of time travel going on and multiverse stuff going on. But then the slingshot of that, well, we're going to go back to like little hard-boiled jewels. That's always where it goes back to. Let's go back to basics.
I understand.
Yeah.
B Things wants you on with me and Art and Franco.
I love Art and Franco.
I know
would
you
love
do.
to do that. We
You
need
know,
to bond.
honestly, man,
Yeah.
Franco's on the East Coast. so
You have tried to get us together.
and I truly have,
over the
because
years.
I love when, as George on Seinfeld would say, I love it when my worlds collide. That makes me very happy.
Me too.
And truly, even my non-comic book friends, when they've had the opportunity to meet my comic book friends, there's nothing more delightful. But there, as you've met, I know you've met them at writing seminars at DC and things like that.
I also just a big fan of their work. I saw them years and years ago. Like, yeah, when I was coming up, I was really enjoying their stuff.
Well, there, we do our fuck around show, and it's fun, and it does get silly and crazy and stuff. And I told you. I can't announce it yet, but I told you about a podcast Franco and I are prepping.
Yes.
And I'm so excited for that thing, Brian. I'm going to wait till we got a couple episodes in the can. It will not be a live show, everybody, but we're going to do a canned show. And I think for what we're doing, we will do the occasional live show. But it's so excited.
You'll find its energy and then decide whether or not it needs to be a live show, like you did with this show.
Hey, Fegley's joining us. Hey, Kyle.
Kyle.
Mike Pandemic Comfort Show was James Garner's Maverick Indeed, which is a crime show like 40% of the time. Hell yeah, man. I saw
and that's also like a perfect example of that show, even in reruns, just felt different and a little more fun and a little more sophisticated than other shows like it, which would be Bonanza, I guess, right?
Right.
Shout out to Bananas for Bonanza, starring Andy Daly, best podcast that isn't by John.
One of the things that inspired my show that's coming up is that Going Bonanza show.
Bananas for Bonanza, highly recommend. But yeah, they're in performance and swagger and just like there's something about it, and that's very much like what they were talking about in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, that era of stories that immediately captured like a hook that they were doing.
Well, Fegley, I want you to look up, because first of all, people will blow off the Bart Maverick shows that Jack Kelly did. They're great. They are great. But even more importantly, for one season, like 10 episodes, Roger Moore was their British cousin, Bo Maverick. And there's one episode in particular that absolutely is a crime story. And it has John Carradine, Lee Van Cleef, and Sherry Jackson.
I've seen this. Yep.
Have you seen this episode?
100%. I used to watch Maverick religiously. I'm not sure what it looks like today, but when we were coming up, there were so many reruns in Cleveland on Saturday afternoon, and the stuff that stuck out really stuck out because there was a lot of garbage, right?
Yeah.
So when something had like, oh, you were a little ahead of your time here, okay,
yes,
compared to Bonanza, which would be like pretending it's outside, but you can tell they're inside. Like they can't even get that right. Versus a show like Maverick, which seemed to take things, or Wild Wild West, which just take things just a little further than you thought were possible at the time.
Absolutely. Yeah, I love that line in Diner where the guy's like, I saw Bonanza color. The Ponderosa looked fake. I hardly recognize Little Joe.
No, for those of you who don't watch Bananas for Bonanza, and the great Andy Daly and the great Matt Gorley from Conan O'Brien, mixed with, for the first couple of years, the incredible Maria Bamford, pretend to do a rewatch podcast of Bonanza, starting with the first episode in character, but yet they really do it. They really go through every single episode, and they really care about it, and it's really funny, and it's really fun. And if you're a Maria Bamford fan, it's 40 hours of the best stuff she's ever done in any format. It's like this hidden jewel of her genius. It's incredible. I highly recommend it. And she's been replaced by Lily Sullivan, who's also one of the great geniuses of modern improv. She's killing it on the show. I couldn't recommend it higher. I think it's tremendous. And also, it's one of those things like when they describe the episodes, I go, I've seen that episode. I remember it as clear as day. It's crazy that how much Bonanza I might have watched and how terribly racist it was. Well, anyway,
this is true. Do you want to wrap up? Is that an?
Yeah, we should. I gotta get some. I just saw the time. I gotta get.
Yeah, I understand you.
It's like 4 a.m. for you or something.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's 5 minutes to 3 my time. That's all right.
We did want to hang, and we did want to do something special for the people who are supporting the book club and giving a little bit of extra fun. I hope everyone is playing with their Legos and other presents that they got for the holidays while they listen to this. That was our goal. I will say we're broadcasting after the holidays. So if you got a gift card, if you got like an Amazon gift card or like a bookstore gift card, I must say, what a great opportunity to go to a comic book store or go to a bookstore and buy something you normally wouldn't buy. Like, let's say you love like Kelly Thompson's Absolute Wonder Woman. Well, go buy The Cull from her, or Jason Aaron. If you love Jason Aaron, he's got a great Matt Fraction. Go read Adventure Man if you love Batman. Oh my God, go read Adventure Man by him and Terry Dodson. So there's like, for every book you're reading, or if you're reading only independent stuff, check out some of these mainstream books that are shooting high. And there's a lot of them right now. So anyway, what a great opportunity to try some graphic novels, some other formats that you normally wouldn't try. Just, boy, it's such an exciting time in the comics making space. And what a great opportunity for you to challenge yourself and try some new things. That's my recommendation.
Jump on the first 4 issues of Powers. Issue 4 came out on Christmas Eve, and the arc will continue next month. And then also, is there a publishing date yet for Avengers 800?
I believe third week in January is Avengers 800. Me and Mark Bagley reuniting and with great warmth and joy. I'm also a big fan of Jed McKay. I got to spend some time with him this summer. I really enjoyed him and happy to be part of his run as well. So, and that is the first of a handful of Marvel projects, both big and small, that will be percolating out through the year. None of that takes away from what will be in the ongoing production of new material through Dark Horse. I also have a new graphic novel coming out with David Marquez from First Second. And so there's I know a lot of people have enjoyed me really sticking to my guns and spending the last few years doing only creator-owned stuff and using the gift of Miles Morales to put out as many new things as I possibly can. And I have done so, and I will continue to do so. We have literally like 10 brand new projects coming out over the next few years, all of which will be backed by the continuing ongoing of Powers relaunch. And what will hopefully, by the time this even gets announced, the news of what's happening with Powers outside of comics.
Beautiful. Excellent. And we will announce a day for the book club for next week before New Year's.
Yeah, but for sure, in the meantime, read by Darwin Cook, Richard Parker's The Hunter. That's the right one, right?
Indeed.
Again, I read them out of order by mistake, so did other people. They're all worth reading. I think you can read them all very quickly and enjoy them. This I will say, we haven't read a bad book yet for book club. This one really hit me hard. This one I'm excited to talk about, and I did feel that. I'll save it for the podcast, but I was in the same space as Darwin a few times. Darwin was a bit of a character, so I kind of cut my distance,
to say the least.
Yeah, so I did. So I'll just watch from over here. I'm mad I didn't communicate more with him directly.
He
did punch one of my editors right in the face in front of me, so I did see that.
Okay, a great regret of mine was that I never got him on the show. But he was.
I was going to ask that. I was wondering if there was an episode.
The iFanboy guys became really good friends with him. He was a nice acquaintance for me and was always very sweet to me when I'd see him in San Diego and other conventions. But we just never, unfortunately, I never made the time. No. And sadly, he was sick when I was and didn't know that he was sick when I was trying to get him when he was doing all the Parker stuff for IDW and everything. But no, brilliant man, and one of Jimmy Palmiotti's best friends.
And a real character, like really was. I saw it again. I was there when he punched out an editor. It was that's something you don't see every day.
When his Brubaker Catwoman run is excellent, and it's now in that small DC Digest format that's only $10. Can't recommend it enough. Also, his Art of Darwin Cook for DC hardcover.
I have that.
Is beautifully, it's so great, and yeah, man.
The Final Frontier. What's it called?
New Frontier.
New Frontier, yeah.
New Frontier's genius.
I was watching Star Trek last night.
Yeah,
anyway.
Exactly. Back to that. Right. And another thing about Star Trek that I don't like. I'm kidding.
The Final Frontier?
No, I'm kidding.
Okay, all right.
I was kidding.
All right. How are you? By the way, we have not discussed the Starfleet Academy 90210 poster. that again, I am married into a Star Trek household. You are a Star Trek household. Elisa one day will come on the show.
Please.
I do believe that Starfleet Academy might be the thing that gets around the show.
Oh, that would be lovely, because all I can say is I really hope this is the last gasp of Alex Kurtzman's Star Trek.
I don't have any inside information, but I do happen to know that someone who I believe you've met, a friend of ours named Chris Parnell, who's an executive, who was the reason that Powers got on the air years ago. He got Rick Remender's Black Science on the, not Black Science. What was the one that got on the air? The
it's
one.
the Deadly Class.
Deadly Class. Yeah, sorry, I meant no disrespect, but he got Preacher on the air. He's like one of us who gets big swing comic book stuff on the air. He moved to Paramount recently and has now been put in charge of what will become the next generation of Star Trek. I don't know what that means, other than I know it's in good hands, like the hands I've been in. So I'm excited. Past the Starfleet Academy 90210 starting the Klingon poster, and if you haven't seen it, Google it. You're gonna think. Also, did you think that was AI? Like someone was fucking around when you saw it? Oh, no. Okay.
And in fact,
I thought it was a fake.
Other people are like, "Oh, that's clearly a joke," and it's like, no, this is their intent. They are doing 90210 Star Trek. But as you were saying about that guy Chris, Matt Fraction told me the same thing, and he's like, "Good news. There is somebody at Paramount that understands Star Trek and has been waiting his whole life to make good Star Trek."
Mm-hmm.
And it's the Dungeons and Dragons and Game Night directors that are making this new movie. And they have set the line and said, no, Mr. Kurtzman is not involved. Thank God. We're still gonna get a season and a half of Strange New Worlds. We're gonna get at least one or.
Well, you like Strange New Worlds, right? You like Strange New Worlds. Well, it's an anthology.
At times we'll talk, and Elisa and I will talk about it. But
I did hear through the grapevine that Holly Hunter did ask for her character to be murdered.
No way. For real?
Because if there's a second season, she would like not to come back.
Well, what does that tell you, kids? Yeah. There you go.
I don't know if it's true. I don't know anybody involved. I heard it through the Hollywood grapevine.
Brian, the whole ship is the school. And the whole ship is in space being fired upon. And it's like, that doesn't make... By all means, have a ship and send kids out on missions. Fine. But the whole ship is a school? That's stupid. I'm sorry. That is stupid. And again, old man yelling from his porch. And
but Starfleet Academy, just by name, feels like the most no-brainer. This should already be on its 14th season.
They've been trying to make it literally for over 30 years. It gets shot down every time.
Amazing.
Harv Bennett, the original movie producer, wanted to make it instead of Star Trek 6, got shot down. Everyone's like, after Deep Space Nine, well, let's get an O'Brien show where he's teaching at Starfleet Academy. You've already laid the groundwork for it. Nope, they don't want it. And yes, I'm for it, but we get Picard season 3, and we're like, hey, let's continue with Jerry Ryan as the captain of the new Enterprise and all these kids that you just... No, we're giving you Starfleet Academy. And all your favorites from Discovery are going to be guest stars. It's like, we didn't like Discovery. We hated Discovery. And you're giving us more of your crap, Kurtzman. What are you doing to us? You are I am getting gray hair speaking about it.
That is, we were talking about the music of a show. There's something to the bloop bloop sounds in Star Trek that are very appealing.
Oh, those bridge sounds? Are you there's like 8 hours of every iteration of Star.
But I must tell you, in Italy, man, my first week there was a thing called, you can Google it, the Milan Games and Comics Convention. And you go, like, I'm not from there. I don't know what it is. And of course, we get there twice the size of San Diego. 220,000 people were there. It was huge. And part of the convention is fully run by fan organizations. So they brought a Star Wars experience that mirrors Galaxy's Edge. Like, it's so good and so immersive. And London was beside himself. And then the Starfleet Academy group, and there was a Doctor Who group and a Stargate group. And they really took this shit seriously, and it was so good. You would have loved it. Like your people are out there, and they're yelling in Italian.
I want to go to New York in Ticonderoga, where they've recreated the original series Enterprise. They've got sickbay, they got the bridge, they have corridors, they got the transporter room, and I've seen the photos. It looks like you're still on the sets.
Did you ever get to go to the casino?
Yes,
you did. I did too.
And I never got to the Voyager years. I went when it was still Next Generation.
Yeah, I did too. I was early days.
It was great because I would go to Vegas to cover boxing.
Oh, okay.
And on Sunday, before I flew back, I would spend the entire day and I'd go through the ride and all the prop museum and everything. And then I would eat lunch at Quark's because it looks like Deep Space Nine. It looks like Quark's. It was great. So, yeah, I love that thing.
Remember 3 hours ago when Taki was wearing a dinosaur costume on this very show?
I know.
All right. Thank you for hanging out with us for over 3 hours. My goodness. And we could keep going.
Seems like
also people are hanging out with us. Thank you for hanging out with us all night. The whole point was, I'm sure there are people out there who want to hide from their family and just hang out. So thank you for hanging out with us. It's very cool. I agree, Stan Kovich. That Fraction should do more Casanova. I'm a huge fan of that. Thank you all for hanging out with us. If you want more of this nonsense, join John's Patreon or come to the Jinx World Discord, which is on all day and it's filled with people just really celebrating each other's work and nerd stuff. And I share little secrets of stuff I don't share publicly, and it's all good. So if you want
the next Word Balloon Live, Brian's own editor, David Shaban, will be joined. Daniel Shaban will be joined.
When is that? I might pop in for that. No, that's Monday. Yeah. Oh, I may send me a link. I might pop in there. So Daniel Shaban, if I can hype this a little bit,
please.
Like Steve Lieber is like one of the great guys in comics. So he does edit all and publishes all of my stuff at Dark Horse, but he does all the creator-owned stuff at Dark Horse, which is, if you start adding it up, a seismic amount of outstanding comics from David Mack and Kelly Sue and so many other people, masterminds. Just this incredible amount of very cool stuff. Daniel comes and helps teach my class and gives the students like what it's like to work with an editor and what is expected of you from editorial if you want to be in comics. He is a really great guy, and I think if you're serious about your comics career on any level, being a writer, artist, or editor, this is a must tune in. I highly recommend it. He's just a great guy. So.
I've had very few editors on because certainly DC kind of keeps them under wraps, and I've tried to get guys from Marvel occasionally and things, and it has.
You've had Tom on, right?
Who?
Tom Brevoort.
I have had Tom. Tom is an exception, but a lot of the guys that are, and Tom is the overall editor and stuff. But like Will Dennis for years wouldn't come on because DC wouldn't allow him. So as soon as he didn't move to Burbank, I'm like, hey, all right now, and he's like, all right, give me 6 months and then we'll talk. And he's great.
I get it.
Of course,
it's more political for editors because having hung out with a lot of them when I don't need anything, you see how much their lives are so transactional. Like everyone's trying to get work from them, or something from them, and it makes it hard for them to be able to communicate stuff. It's like opening a door you can't fully close.
Yeah.
So I get it, but may this be another opportunity for Daniel to come on here and you guys listen to it, and everything he's saying is very warm and accurate. And if you're serious about your career in comics, you should know this. Because I've done this conversation with him, and man, I wish I knew it when I was coming up. Like, boy, I would have behaved differently, like or pivoted correctly towards these things. But everything he's saying is great advice, and you should take it. All right, good night. God bless. I love you. I'm glad we did this. Next week, book club. Next week, Daniel Shaban, and then when we'll come around and talk Avengers when the time comes or whatever. But
sounds
great.
Thank
you for doing this. All right.
Everybody stay safe.
Happy holidays. Stay safe. Go read a comic.
There you go. Stay happy. Stay healthy. Bye-bye.